Well, good evening. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, January 3rd of 2025. What a year to be alive. Oh my gosh. All right. It's 2025. I'm still stuck in 2024. So
2024 is a bad place. You should move
it's a
on.
bad place. I want to be in 2025. 2025 is a place to be, especially these days. I mean, it's just, you don't want to be stuck in the past. And 2024 brought a whole lot of not fun stuff. So hopefully 2025 brings a lot more fun. So anyway, oh my gosh. I got to call this out immediately. Michelle, thank you. XCDA, thank you very much. That was very kind of you. You do not have to do that. No one has to do that. Thank you very much. Very generous of you. Happy New Year to you as well. And to everyone in the chat, Happy New Year. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Ian, I saw that you had a Christmas tree that went up at the very, very last second. And were there any presents under it?
It was up a little sooner than that, but we can't really put presents under it because the dogs. And the tree isn't really a standard tree. It's this thing my wife sort of invented that goes up against the wall so that then the dogs can't knock it down because it's fixed to the wall. So, yeah, it
improvised.
Yep, and it works well. So,
Well, we had a wonderful holiday. It's a little chaotic. My brain's a little chaotic right now. This 1 week, like before getting back into the swing of things, let me tell you, and it didn't help that we had snow today. And by snow, I mean like East Coast version of snow, not the Canadian version of snow. As in like it dumped snow for 2 seconds, quickly became some other form of precipitation, and the entire world went nuts. Yeah. One of our new associate, Nathaniel, he's from Colorado. So one that is rather accustomed to driving in the snow. And it's his first year kind of, practicing in the area. And he said, so what happens when you snow? And I said, stay home. And he said, what do you mean? I know how to drive in the snow. Yeah, of course you do. No one else does. No one else in this area does. You are placing your own life at risk. So please don't do that. Because I need you to cover the work that I cannot do myself. So
there's the wonderful gap between the people who think that snow means you can't move and the people who think snow means that you just drive exactly how you drive anyway. And, so it's like, no, there's actually a different, there's an in-between place where you drive for the snow and not like full speed ahead. So, yeah.
Well, there's some variation of it. The problem is the second that some little piece of precipitation hits the ground in the DC area, the drivers they freak out. And it's like they are best friends with either the accelerator or the brake, and they can't decide in the given moment. So they are either careening towards you at a very rapid rate of speed, or they are braking and going off of the road at a very rapid speed. But, they're just doing a very rapid speed.
Just so long as they go off the road, in a safe way. So
yeah, without hurting anyone else. Wait, where is that? Snow is cold and wet and has no redeeming. Snow has some redeeming social value. It's wonderful social value. Helene, I will be on that stream a little bit later. I wanted to do the regular scheduled Friday, but you will notice at the top of the chat, there's a pinned comment. That pinned comment is a give, send, go. That is in Jeff Legal Vices' name. It's actually being run by his son. So if you wish to contribute to funeral arrangements, support for the family, that is the way to do it. That's why that's up at the top of the chat. I'll be on there later, but everyone that is here at the end of tonight's stream will be redirected over to one of the simultaneously streaming Legal Vices memorials. That's why I'm not over there right now, just because I want to keep regularly scheduled program.
And so, I'll be there after this. So, yep.
Just for no reason other. Well, we only have one topic this evening, but I did actually stumble across an interesting story. Where was it? Oh, before that, the minis are watching. They are watching upstairs on a television, I believe, or on Mischief Manager's phone. So everyone that's in the chat, you can say hi, and the minis will most assuredly see them. They fly by. And then I'll get some commentary about it tomorrow. But we had a great adventure over the course of the holiday. Did you know that there were ATVs? Well, no, that was a stupid question. I'm doing this because I'm also stalling, because I'm also looking for a particular image I'm trying to find. And let's see.
Everyone's like, hi, minis.
I want to share some of the adventure. And I'm trying to do that the best way possible. And in order to do that, I need a second. Let's see. We're going to save. It's a horribly terrifying blur job. But we're going to go with it because it is what it is. So we took an adventure over the weekend and visited Mischief Manager's brother, younger brother. Wonderful time was had by all, and all had a wonderful time. And in the process of doing that, we had to drop Leo off at his trainer just to, couldn't really bring Leo all the way there because some of you might recall Mischief Manager's younger brother has a canine, like a police canine, does not play well with friends. So we had to drop Leo off. And in the process of dropping Leo off, you ever see puppies just get really tired? Mini Mischief.
Oh.
And in the background is a terribly blurred image. That's Minnie 2. I just wasn't going to show his face. But if you were seeing the actual correct image, you would see jaw agape catching flies in the back of the car, snoring his head off as Leo was also sleeping en route. It was most adorable. And then when we were there, we also partook in some very fun leisurely activities on vehicles. Oop, not that one. I don't want that one. That's the thumbnail for this one. Some ATVs. So there's Mini Mischief 2 riding her own ATV all by her lonesome. There was some hesitation because it's a big thing. Hesitation and perhaps some I want to turn around and go back. Don't worry, I'm right here. We'll pick it up. We got it. No problem. And then I made sure that Minnie 2 was also doing this safely with the goggles. Now I was less safe, but again, these things had a regulator on it. So I figured it wasn't going to be the worst thing in the world. How's that for a 10-year-old on an ATV?
Minorly terrifying.
It's not terrifying. It was fantastic. It's easier than horses. Cheaper too.
I mean, I do criminal law. I see the bad things that happen with vehicles and ATVs. So
I know it was a respectful, controlled environment. We had a good time. So that was a first for them. They had a great time. That was the conclusion of our holiday. The rest of our holiday was spent doing all types of glorious things. There were so many presents to open on Christmas that we are placing a moratorium on presents coming into this household. I realized this when the presents had to go from the main level to the upstairs bedrooms where the kids put all their toys away. And after I made the fourth trip up the stairs, I was like, we're done. Nope, we're done. So, got questions. Is that the jury box you see? What you see is my best effort at, my best effort.
It looks like someone threw a hand grenade in the jury box.
Take it easy. It's not a hand grenade in the jury box. I don't know if it's that. Let's see.
No, you're right. Hand grenades don't result in that level of shredding.
Easy. Wait, why is this all? There we go. Hang on, give me 1 second. I'll share this picture behind because I actually was messing around down here. We remember how to do the things. No, we don't, because we forget all the time. All right. So this is the best kind of jerry-rig setup that I can make right now. Oh, there's more robots up top. Let's see if we can elevate that a little bit. So the other cool thing that we did for Christmas, actually you can probably see it there, was there's now a maker space. You're going to get really jealous of this part. So if you look behind me, Ian, do you see the 3D printer?
Yes, I am jealous of that.
And the chair that is sitting right there. So that is a mini Mischief makerspace.
Oh, nice.
So they now have their own little makerspace hooked up to the 3D printer. That was part of the Christmas gift, where they can come down here and print anything they would want, anything they want to hang out with and make stuff. So it's all set up to run the software, to run the 3D printer. And I've got the rest of the jury the best I can set up in the background. Please embiggen. I'm seeing a please embiggen. Okay. Get embiggen. Can I embiggen? I don't want to. That's embiggen.
No, that's the wrong one. That's also the wrong one either.
This is the wrong one. I don't like this. I guess the answer is no, I cannot embiggen. We're just going to do that. That is as embiggened as you can get. So we've got the jury, the robots, all the things that are made. I try to get as many of the things you guys make and send included as I possibly could. For those that are new to the channel who are very confused by what you're seeing right here, I am a maker. I make things most often out of wood in my shop. I also encourage people to make things and share their wares with the public and people all abroad. Go make something, you'll feel better is the phrase you'll hear me say quite often. Well, what do people do? They make stuff, it makes them feel better, and they want to share that it made them feel better because they send it to me. And I try to pay homage to the people that make the stuff and have the courage to get out there and make it for the first time. And I go ahead and share what I can and keep you guys in the background because you guys are hanging out with me in the chat. So I figured all of you deserve representation on the wall or in the shelves or all of the above. So no, that jury floats. That jury is awesome. The lumber in the law and number. Yes, it is. Think about that a lot. Make something, you feel better. You do. All right. So there is one topic and one topic only this evening because I want to get over and say hello and pay my respects to Jeff Legal Vices, who, for those of you who are not aware, passed away just recently, surprisingly. A great friend, a great commentator, a great person that we lost. So there's a memorial stream going on. Started at 8 p.m. and they're going to go until they drop. And I am therefore going to be doing one topic this evening to try and pass the torch over there.
And I'm going to try to do minimal interference.
Says the crazy wild elf who always interferes. Ian, you are so tired right now.
I am so tired.
I'm looking at you. I'm just. Good night, honey. Good night, minis. Okay. Wait, hang on. What? Wait, what is this random commenter? If sent files 3D print a yeet cannon for display.
The answer to that is no. You won't.
I mean, it depends on what the cannon yeets.
The yeet cannon is a high point gun.
No, we're not printing that. I don't need the ATF knocking where they don't need to be knocking.
Like, that's actually a gun is what that is.
Yeah, and there's a dog present, which means if the ATF knocks, then my dog has a very good chance of making it out of here.
Yeah. Did you see at the One Shot Show they had body armor for dogs? It's like the ATF's worst nightmare. A bulletproof dog.
Just, I say this only in jest, and I mean only in jest, because No, I don't mean this only in jest, because the ATF has a terrible record with animals. Like a horrible record with animals. They knock often. Oh, this was the other funny thing. I went to start my camera up, Ian, and there was a
There was a what?
I realized too late, because I was like, why is my camera not showing me? This was hanging over the lens, like looking back at me and waving. Like it was like that, looking back at me and waving over the lens. And I was like, what the? I realized that one of the minis put it up there just to mess with me. This is the problem with kids, man. They're going to keep messing with me, and I am getting too old and too slow-witted to catch up and keep up with them.
And Betty Singlet asking if you're going to Vegas. He's not going to Vegas, I don't think.
No, I have a trial that's actually scheduled. I talked to Ian about this. I have a trial that's scheduled to begin on Wednesday. The show is Monday the 20th. Yeah, Monday the 20th, which every flight coming back this way is going to put me late on Tuesday, which means that trial on Wednesday, no good. The gnome's wall hanging is here. It's up there. Yes, I did get it, Betty. Phenomenal. You have a mantle carving video. My dog's snack dealer. Interesting. Oh, this is a question from D. Finch. Ian, did you get the mail stuff out for the charity stream? I can answer for me, and it's not yet. I wish I
not yet.
Good.
So I have one thing that was sent as sort of I did the same thing with the hot sauce where I sent one thing as sort of a test because I'm trying to do it through Shopify because Shopify will let me save a whole bunch on shipping if I can do it. And so basically sending one through to just like, hey, let's see if this will, if this will go through. And anyway, that one, I'm just checking on it again, but that one is still listed as delayed. And so I'm not super keen on sending like everything out while the first one is still kind of lingering. So yeah, and that one was shipped before the strike started. So basically I'm waiting for that one to land, and then once that one lands, I have to do a whole bunch of boxing because so many things and all the things had to get moved multiple times. So I'm like, please, I hope nothing got misplaced. Yeah.
I finally unpacked a box of boxes. That sounds odd, but I unpacked a box of boxes that were sitting there with handwritten, like, this is to this person, to this person, to this person, as gifts from when I moved that I wanted to mail. But I finally unboxed it. I have them. There's actually a stack of them sitting on my desk that's over there, and all of the other stuff. I actually printed cases for the pens that I auctioned off. So that was why the delay there, but they're really cool. Those should go out this week. I wanted to try and get them out by Christmas, but in time. My dog snack dealer. I actually found this video while I was sitting here. I was wondering, what is this video? And there's the video of your carved mantelpiece. So it actually made sense. I was so confused for a second, but there's your carved mantelpiece.
Oh, that is
good
cool.
work. That is really cool.
I'm wondering what that was done with, like Dremel or
put on the acorns.
It's really cool. Looks like some handwork.
It's gonna be my perfect mantle.
It's fun. Nice work. Hope that was fun for you. Okay. Let me make sure I'm caught up in no questions. There's a lot of gifted memberships that I will have to get into when we get towards the end of the stream. But I need to get to a topic real quick because I'm going to start losing my own focus if I don't. I forgot to take my meds this afternoon.
Oh,
that.
See, I understand because I forgot to take my meds this entire month.
Oh. All right. I'm sitting here going, why am I all over the place? What is going on? Why can I not put together 2 consecutive sentences on the same topic and string together logic? What is going on? And I just realized that's the reason why. Okay, so this is going to be really interesting. We're going to see how he hang on here. Hang on, folks. It's going to be a wild ride. Mispronounced name, only 9 minutes late. Where's the real Rob? He's here. It's going to be a very interesting version of the night. Kotri, hey, Rob, Happy New Year. My New Year resolution, more Friday Night Frenzy live. Been far too long. Missed you a lot. Missed you guys. I like being here. I need to get more consistent with it. And now that I've got some more organization down here, I think I can. Linda Santiago, Happy New Year to my 2 favorite streamers. Happy New Year to you, Linda. My apologies. Shanta, Happy New Year, Rob and Ian. Best 2 on YouTube. Thank you very much, Shanta. Tumwater Troy, Happy New Year, boys. Happy New Year to you. Sardinisms. Runkle. Michigan J Frog is the singing Looney Tunes frog. Michigan J cat has a broken meow box and croaks, thus frog. Happy New Year, Rob, Ian, and chat. I am so lost. Is there an explanation there that I can understand?
I don't know.
The way that my brain is going right now, if I try to figure it out, I'm going to get very confused. Destiny Salazar, Ian, loved your interview with Courtroom Confidential.
That was a fun interview.
I didn't get to watch that yet. How long was it? Was it an hour?
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm glad you got to do that. They have an email in my inbox. I'd need to schedule something with them too.
And
Emily Aaron's, Happy 2025. What?
There's folks saying, Rob, go get your meds. And it's like, guys, if Rob takes his meds now, he's going to be up until Monday.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to take meds at 9 o'clock at night. And then go hyper focus, especially when I have to sleep, wake up, and cook breakfast for starving people. That does not go over well. So no, we're gonna start fresh again tomorrow, and we're not gonna make the same mistake twice. I love when that happens, though, when you finally realize and process. Emily Aaron's, Happy 2025, Rob, Runkle, and the chat. Happy 2025. Happy New Year's from Moondragon to you, myself, in the chat. Happy New Year's as well. Happy New Year from Cherry Mills. Wishing you all good health, and you as well, and your family and friends. Random commenter, fair. ATF says it's the high score. Not bad record. Yeah. ATF has they have terrible marksmanship in a lot of what they do. I mean it. Like ATF misfires. You saw the ATF.
They never miss a dog.
But when it comes to a dog, it is sad. But Lynn, I got to the P.O. box and I unpacked it for the kids, and they have their lovely Lynn was very kind and actually crocheted 2 beautiful Afghans for the minis. So they have them right now, and they loved it. They were beautiful, absolutely wonderful. You're remarkably talented, and thank you very much for sending that. Are you covering the Jones v. Baldoni lawsuit, please? Blake Lively case, and the Baldoni versus the New York Times case. And we're going to see where we go from there. But that's what we're covering tonight. Chris Cat Queen Hubs got a promotion after just 1 month. Congratulations to the Hubs. That means I might be able to participate in the next charity stream auction and snag a Rob pen or Ian leather. You don't have to participate in the charity auction stream. It's a wonderful cause for
charity.
You to
Crazy
do.
Cats Queen, I owe you a thing, and I owe you a thing that is like substantial because the last one got lost in the mail. So, we'll figure that out. I will make you a thing.
I feel like I owe a lot of people made a lot of things. But now I have a makerspace available to make the things.
Yeah, but she put a lot of money into a thing that got lost in the mail, and
oh no, was that last year?
That was the
I remember
mask. I'm gonna have to remake that. And it was one of the projects I've liked least making. So I'm gonna have to remake it because but yeah, the thing is that trying to sew inside that the long snout sucks. Because you gotta reach right in there, and it was not not a whole lot of fun. But
I
yeah,
remember that mask. That thing was beautiful too. Yeah. Good luck. 9-inch nails gal. Hold up. I knew I missed stuff, but you have minis now. Step minis. We're gonna put it that way. Always
they're
remember,
your
if you
minis
can't,
at this point. Well, sort of.
can't beat
When's
them,
that wedding
join 'em.
happening?
Don't get me thinking about a different topic. Not now. Oh, planning anything is difficult. Planning something when you have children is remarkably difficult. Planning something when you have children, a YouTube channel, which is a full-time job, and a legal practice, which is a full-time job, is I need to hire somebody to do it. I'm just gonna hire someone to do it.
I've told you to do that a while ago.
You know what? Hiring someone takes time.
Fair.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't want me to just hire somebody for you and be like,
no,
all right,
nope.
I need you to plan a wedding for Rob, and it needs to include the following things. And Rob would be like, wait, what?
Nope, we're not doing that. Nope. I'm going to say this. I did on the wall. The wall is mounted a 11 little play gun, one of my Nerf guns. I see the print a little holster here, like on the underside of the desk, so that if one of the minis comes down, I can have a quick draw and around the corner. Yeah. No, I'm not an adult. I'm not growing up. Always remember, you can't beat them, join them. That was where my brain was for pranks against the other parent only. Yeah, I know. That's where my logic is. Kristen M96, is the shop done? If you had a chance to play, the shop is almost done. The lathe is accessible. I did have a chance to help a friend make a few pens for some family members. So I got a chance to teach, not play, but teaching is about as much fun as I can have in a shop. So I love doing it. Blessed in Texas, love and respect you guys. Thank you very much. Blessed in Texas. Joey Schoenfeld, Happy New Year's. Have you seen the clip of a witness and judge going through a simulation while wearing VR headsets in court? I did see that clip. It is absolutely wild. I can't believe that was a real thing.
I can't believe that was allowed. Because, like, how do you demonstrate that this simulation is actually a decent... I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a thing, but also how do you demonstrate that the witness and the judge are seeing the same simulation?
Well, and how do you... I mean... I just don't know how that got in over objection. I think that's the
I suspect it was that the judge went, well, this is probably going to be cool.
I
Tell me
did
I'm
see
wrong.
a clip. No, you're probably right. Honestly, if I was just saying, like, if it was me, that's probably the most rationale. Like, this is going to be really cool. Of course, I want to see it. I did want to share something else that made me laugh. Gave me an absolute amazing chuckle, and I thought of you and only you when I saw it. My ADHD is not firing off at all. Nope, not at all. We are just fine. Tell me you saw this clip.
I didn't see that clip. Oh, yes, that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh. All right. That.
I mean, that comedian kind of he had an opportunity and he did nothing with it.
I know, but it was so close.
Yeah, just meh.
All right. Christy Austin, hey guys, wish me luck. I'm starting paramedic training in January. Good luck to you. January is a great time to start anything, including that, especially that.
Congratulations and good luck.
John Comment, I feel you, Rob. I forgot my Alexa Pro for 2 days. I had a panic attack at work today because I'm moving to Fort Meade in 2 weeks. 1, moving is always stressful and is going to add more stress than normal. 2, now at least you recognize that you forgot the meds. Now you can make the correction and hopefully get back on board with the moving. His name's Baldoni. That's unfortunate. Justin Baldoni. I think it's Baldoni. Yeah.
Yep. You realize also that we are 30 minutes in and you haven't opened the case yet.
Yes. It's, to be fair, it's not the worst I've ever done. But I think the worst we've done is an hour before we got to a single topic.
Fair.
Alan Muller, Sword Mage. If Robin Hood won, would he get a Maid Marian? I've seen that joke before. It still makes me laugh. Judy got this made. 2025 be healthy and beneficial for us all. I could not agree more. Lauren Rose, have a new year. I hope everyone enjoyed and or survived the holidays. We did. I hope you guys all did as well. We did, and I'm going to say by the skin of our teeth. We're close. You take kids and you lock them up in a house for 2 weeks and you expect them not to go absolutely insane. You are playing with fire. Sardanisms asked Ian Monday if he knew the reference of the Michigan J cat.
And I still don't really.
I think that might be an email, Sardanisms. Lauren Rose, can't believe I've been a member for over 2 years. I can't believe I've had a channel for over 2 years, but yeah, membership. And you've been a member for over 2 years. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. Love the contributions you make. Melanie Schuyler, Happy New Year. Best wishes in 2025. Robbie in a chat. Thank you. Blessed in Texas. Do you both have a way to order something on your YouTube about pages? My mother loves leather and wood as a former horse rider and primitive antiques lover.
I don't really sell stuff other than like as the charity thing.
Yeah. I have a difficult enough time getting stuff out to people that just I'm giving stuff away. I tried to do commission work at some point.
I'm like 7 projects behind.
It's too difficult.
I might at some point be like, okay, I'll put some stuff up and sell it online. But the thing is that Shopify charges something like $50 a month to just hold the account open. I have been waiting for the strike to end so that I can print off all my shipping labels and then close the account again because holy crap, is it expensive. So I'm going to end up in the hole on opening up a Shopify account because
that's something they don't really tell you is how expensive the side of shipping this stuff is. Like, for example, and I love doing it, but every year the charity stream, everything you guys pay goes to the charity. We mail the stuff. And I never complain about it, but mailing the stuff is a lovely challenge that I love to undertake for the benefit of this charity because it is.
I'm going to complain a little bit because it's going to be probably more than $1,000 by the time it's all done.
This right here is a great question. Consi.
Yes, I am.
I am. I think Ian's going to cover it too. This caught my attention. Yeah, this has Ian written all over it. This is going to be probably Ian Monday, but this lawsuit is so interesting. For those of you who don't know the crux or the basic premise of the lawsuit, Honey, which is owned by PayPal, is an extension on your browser, whether it's Edge, Chrome, or otherwise. And Honey advertises itself as basically being an extension to help you save money, right? So it says it's going to get you the best deal. Well, influencers make money by affiliate links, right? So what ends up happening is influencers say, if you buy this thing, Or if you click the link here, you put in the discount code, you can get a cheap discount on this thing. Go ahead.
Here's how the link, like if you follow the link that an influencer posts, it's got a referral code, and then that referral code tells the site, hey, this guy is the guy who sent the business there, so send him the money.
It's a little bit different. It's not actually that the basis of the lawsuit. It's not the referral code.
It is, because that's what Honey is swapping out.
No, Honey's not swapping out the referral code. Honey is swapping out the cookie. So when you click a link,
no, it swaps out the referral code. This has been shown on
seriously?
video. Yes.
It swaps out the referral code too?
Yes. So when
I didn't realize
click,
it swapped out the referral code. I saw.
So the way it works is you click the thing and it opens up a little window briefly that you almost never notice because it opens and closes really fast. And it does that in order to plug in their own referral code, such that when you go to that site, you are now getting credited for, to Honey. So imagine you're a car salesman where, car salesmen get paid on commission, right? Where you do all the work to sell the car, and then some other random dude walks in and is like, I sold this. I get the commission. And you're sitting there going like, what?
The way I equated it was, let's say you're shopping around a store, right? And you have one person who's worked with you the entire time. They selected these items, they brought these to your attention, and they said, hey, if you liked what I did, here is, my card. Go up to the front. When you check out, give them this card. So you actually say, this is great. This person was very helpful. I'm gonna take their card. You go to the front desk to check out. You give them the card. The person at the register doesn't scan that card, but puts their own card in and scans it and gets all the credit for it. Like, you intended to give the money to that person.
Yeah, there's a lawsuit that is going on in this, like the lawsuit in the States is interesting, but they've got it limited to Americans, so I can't sign up. In Canada, I suspect that what they've done would constitute like criminal fraud. So that's fun. That's exciting. And
Scott,
he's not wrong.
I know. And the worst is, of course, it's owned by PayPal. Like, of course, Honey is owned by PayPal, who has already
that's actually the best.
Massive defunding scandals. Like,
it means there's so much money to be recovered over this. Yeah.
It's a mess. It's a class action lawsuit. The class right now is still awaiting certification, but the class is essentially every creator who's ever used an affiliate link.
Well, here's the other thing, though.
Class
is that Honey also it was also ripping off the customers, because like, let's say I've got an affiliate link, and often those affiliate links give you like 20% off, right? So I have an affiliate link that if you follow that, you get 20% off. Honey will not tell you that it's got that you were following that link. It will instead go, we're going to take that 20% that you were going to get. We're going to just say you instead have the best price, and we're going to swap in the our link so you pay full price, but we get the cut. And yeah, it's actually really, really bad there, because and quite frankly, I think some of those people have a good case for, fraud and criminal fraud. But yeah, they're swapping they swap out the cookies, they swap out the referral link, they swap out everything that, earns you money on that.
Well, and
so we're really talking about this is similar to cookie stuffing, right? So,
and let me explain the cookies part. So the cookies part is, like, let's say I put up an Amazon affiliate link. The Amazon affiliate link, here's how Amazon affiliate links work. When you click the Amazon affiliate link and click through to Amazon, right? It is not just, and by the way, the affiliate links are really funny. People that make money on affiliate links, the audience you have to reach in order to make money on affiliate links is massive. Because
Hey,
we're
I
talking
mean, I make
about
money on affiliate links, like
well,
$10 total.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like $10, $15, something like that. But large channels who well, I'm giving
If
an
you've
example,
got
like
millions of
3D
people,
printing.
and especially
Exactly.
if you've got millions of people in a community, like our community is about law. And the thing about law is you probably don't buy shit for that. But if we had a community that was based on like
fashion,
what is it? My rule of law thing, like D&D stuff,
printing.
maybe 3D printing, any of this stuff, right? So yeah. All of that stuff, you know, something where it's a community around buying stuff, then you're in a much better situation there. So
yeah, I mean, for example, like the 3D printing thing. Full disclosure, I have a new 3D printer coming in the end of January. But the 3D printing thing, I watch a lot of videos on 3D printing, how to fix jams, how to now I'm getting down into the G code, messing with G code, how to properly 3D model, how to use different 3D modeling software. I watch a lot of that content right now because I went down the rabbit hole to watch that content. And there's certain creators that I very much enjoy how they explain stuff to me. I love it. And so when they throw an affiliate link, what I will often do is, let's say I'm buying something, even if I'm not buying what they're referring to, I will go to their channel, click the affiliate link to click through, and then buy something, knowing that it's giving my contribution a little bit to that creator because they put the time and effort into explaining how to do this thing. I intend in clicking that link to give that money to that creator. I want them to get a cut of that because I think they put good effort into selling that thing. And it's a good thing. Now, let's say I had the honey widget or extension on my browser, which is, by the way, when you install it on the browser, it's enabled unless it is otherwise, unless you actually go in and disable it. So it just assumes that it's enabled. And I click that affiliate link and I go to buy the thing. All of a sudden it swaps it out. Now Honey's getting the money. PayPal is getting the money that I intended to go for that small creator. What?
Also, Rob, we are not on topic.
I know. I saw this and it made me
I will
laugh.
be going through the lawsuit on Monday.
Yeah, there's my ADHD. Yeah, I look over and I was like, huh, ADHD really is going that way. Yeah. So that's the Honey lawsuit. It is very interesting right now. It's at the very, very, very early stages. The whole lawsuit's like 13 pages. It's very brief. It's very concisely written, very well written, and very well explained. So I'm excited to hear you talk about it.
I actually think like a 13-page lawsuit is so much better than a 90-page lawsuit because, oh my God, the number of lawsuits where I'm just like, did you see the filing by Rudy Giuliani?
No, I did not. I saw you mocking it like hysterically, but I did not see it.
It's so bad.
I saved myself the time. I just felt like I just really didn't want to.
It goes over and over and over again with like, where the hell is a point? It like, cause he's like, you know, I'm very unpopular and people are like, you judge are probably personally against me for, for my political views because you were voted against by Republicans. And it's like, why are you putting this in your filing, sir? Why? But yeah, we've got to cover the actual topics though, because they're a thing.
Well, speaking of 90-page complaints, I imagine we should probably get to one of these 90-page complaints because holy crap, have I been confused about what the hell is going on with any of the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni stuff. So for those of you who are curious, who is Blake Lively? Who is Justin Baldoni? Blake Lively is an actress. Justin Baldoni, an actress, an actor. Do we really have to? We have to, yeah, I need to figure out what's going on in this case because there's shade being thrown in both directions and I'm very confused. So yes, I need to understand what the hell is happening. And I don't trust the mainstream or masthead media to explain it the right way. So I'm going to read the damn filings because I just don't trust the reporting on it, especially the reporting by the New York Times, because holy crap, we're just not going to trust the New York Times anymore about anything.
Ever.
All right. So
also, could I interject with something mildly amusing?
Of course you may.
So I'm trying to win a Bunkie, which is like a 10-foot by 12-foot 2-story. It's kind of a shed. So but it's going to be like a little mini cabin for Mrs. Runkle and I until we can build something a little larger for the new property. If we get it. But I've been getting emails because they now have an email for when people use the referral link. And so the way it works is that for signing up, a person gets 1 entry. But if I refer somebody, I get an extra 600 entries. So the net result of that, because I put this out on Twitter, and if you're okay with it, I'll drop the referral link for people in North America to sign up.
Please do.
What is it? So if you sign up, it gets me an extra 600 entries, but I'm currently up to, as of the last email, 362,444 entries.
Okay. So you're getting a Bunkie?
I hope.
Hang on, where was it? Where was it? I missed it. There's the explanation. Okay. So
if that happens, there'll be some content with like me trying to build this thing.
Which will be about as entertaining as we can imagine.
It's basically a little shed that we are going to live in when we go up there. And I'm hoping... so people have been saying that I've got to call it the Runkle Bunkle.
The Runkle Bunkle.
But the idea, hopefully, is that it gives us a place to stay while we're there until we can get something like larger set up.
This thing is so cute.
Isn't it?
It's adorable. This is adorable. I want to advocate for this. This is phenomenal. Hang on.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
We'll paint it like, some sort of silly colors there.
Look how cute that is. That is adorable. There you go. So that's the Bunkie you get, I guess.
That's the idea, and then it comes shipped as like flat pack parts, and then you've got to assemble it.
Oh, that's fun. That's like content for days.
Assuming it doesn't get me killed, yes.
Wait a minute, I said days. That's content for weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is we're gonna have to put some work in to try to get this thing like all, cleaned up and so forth. But yeah. And then we gotta put like a toilet somewhere, and
it's so cute. It's got it's very adorable. I can see that it's like Lincoln Logs assemble. So you've got notches, I guess, in the 2x4s here.
Yeah. So it's basically Lincoln Log style, and yeah.
The inside is so quaint. And herringbone floors. Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put insulation under those.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know this about Canada.
It's cold.
But
very cold.
Yeah. Very, very cold.
Look, you can have a to-do list. It will say sleep. Oh, it's a scorecard.
I don't think I'm putting up a to-do list with sleep, but
no, I think you should. It's on your to-do list all the time. You just disregard the to-do list.
I do.
That is adorable.
But yeah, it's not got a whole lot of square footage, and we got to figure out how to make it, sensible. But yeah.
No, there is nothing sensible about that. It doesn't have to be sensible. It is adorable.
There's people saying Rob's got to fly out to help. And I'm like, I don't think Rob's going to fly out to assemble a thing.
You never know. Assembling a thing is a good way of getting me somewhere.
That is true.
But this is adorable. I can't tell you how much I want this for you. Anyway, there's the link. Click the link. I want this for Ian very badly.
Is that not awesome?
That's awesome. I very much chat. The chat is going, the ADHD mode is ADHDing. Yes. To be fair, I gave you warning. I said that I forgot my meds. Like, yes, I gave you warning. Sorry, Kristen. The problem is usually me on my meds is able to manage Ian. Oh no. Okay, here we go. We're going to do this. I'm going to swoop. It's going to force me to do it. Swoop. All right. Blake Lively filed a complaint rather. Blake Lively originally filed a complaint with the California Department of it was a very
cancer
weird,
causing
California
things that cause
Civil
cancer.
Rights Department.
I was close.
Civil Rights Department.
I assumed it would be the things that cause cancer because it's California.
Yeah. What this is called, Justin Baldoni. This one. Yeah. No one manages Ian. I know this. I am probably the best at it.
It's true, and also
When
kind
I'm
of
on my
depressing.
Yeah. So what I did not realize, so this was, oh no, that's Wayfair. This is not this one. I need this one. I need this lawsuit. This one. California Civil Rights Division. I didn't actually realize you could file these complaints independently. Again, I don't practice this type of law. So I was rather confused when they were like, she filed a lawsuit. And I was like, where's the lawsuit? And it was just this. And what made me even more confused was how the lawsuit ends, which just had me like very perplexed because there's no prayer for relief. Hang on, fast forward.
Because it's not a lawsuit.
I know, it's a complaint. This one is. This one's a complaint. But the lawsuit just kind of goes. Like it just ends at paragraph 2 or 3. One, well, not one, but if you have 203 paragraphs in your lawsuit, I object. You do not. 203 paragraphs. There's a lot. So, where does this all stem from? Well, it all begins with this particular lawsuit. So let's go back to the top and start talking about it. Complaint for damages, sexual harassment, retaliation, failure to investigate, prevent, and or remedy harassment, retaliation, aiding and abetting harassment, retaliation, breach of contract, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, false light, invasion of privacy, interference with prospective economic advantage.
And I see people noting, don't use honey on the referral link because then like honey ends up with a bunkie.
Yeah, dude, disable honey before you hit the referral link for the bunkie, please.
Also, just in general.
All right, so this is where this all starts. Now, this starts with this complaint, and then what we're going to get is we're going to get the Baldoni lawsuit against the New York Times, then we're going to get the Blake Lively lawsuit against Baldoni. So we got 3 total lawsuits discussing the same surrounding circumstances. And honestly, you read the lawsuit and you're going, this is very interesting. Then you read Baldoni's lawsuit and you go, oh, this gives me additional context. So that's what we're going to do. January 4th, prior to resuming the filming of It Ends With Us, following guild strikes, an all-hands meeting was convened to address the hostile work environment that had nearly derailed production of the film. Attendees at the meeting included Justin Baldoni, who's the co-chairman and co-founder of Wayfarer Studios, as well as the director, producer, and actor in the lead role of the person opposite Blake Lively. Jamie Heath, a CEO of Wayfarer and producer of the film, Ange Gianetti, the film's representative for its distributor Sony Pictures, Alex Sachs, producer, Todd Black, producer, Blake Lively, who played the role of Lily Bloom, who played opposite of Justin Baldoni. Ms. Lively also had the agreed upon right to have a representative present. She chose her husband, giving that the meeting was about repeated sexual harassment and other disturbing behavior by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath. So right off the bat, we've got some context. As discussed in detail below, Ms. Lively was forced to address concerns about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's misconduct with them directly and began doing so months before the film began. Concerns she raised were not only for herself, but for the other female cast and crew, some of whom had also spoken up. The January 4th meeting occurred only after Wayfarer had rebuffed Ms. Lively's efforts repeatedly. During the January 4th meeting, the parties discussed in detail the inappropriate conduct that Ms. Lively, her employees, and her other cast and crew experienced at the hands of Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath. After the list below is reviewed and discussed in its entirety, all parties present agreed that the outlined conduct would cease. This is apparently the notes of things that are not to occur. We'll read this and then we'll go to the article that becomes kind of the forefront of these discussions. No more showing of nude videos or images of women, including producer's wife, to IBL and or her employees, IBL being Blake Lively. Which, you know, if that being number one, don't show me nude pictures of your wife, I'm confused as to how that ever came up.
Yeah, I'm going to say there is no context in which anybody is seeing anything like that.
No more mention of Mr. Baldoni's or Mr. Heath's previous pornography addiction or BL's lack of pornography consumption to Blake Lively or other crew members. No more discussions to Blake Lively or her employees about personal experiences with sex, including as it relates to spouses or others. No more mention to Blake Lively or her employees or of personal times that physical consent was not given in sexual acts as either the abuser or the abused. No more descriptions of their own genitalia to Blake Lively. No more jokes or disparaging comments to be made to Blake Lively and or her employees about HR complaints Wayfarer has already received on set about missing the HR meeting. No more inquiries by Mr. Baldoni to Blake Lively's trainer about her knowledge or consent to disclose her weight. No more mention by Mr. Baldoni of him speaking to Blake Lively's dead father. No more pressing by Mr. Baldoni for Blake Lively to disclose her religious beliefs or unsolicited sharing of his. Well, that seems kind of odd. That one, like, well, never mind. I'm going to take that back. All of those are very odd.
We've all had that coworker. Come on.
If Blake Lively and her infant is exposed to COVID again, Blake Lively must be provided with immediate notice as soon as Wayfarer or any other producers become aware of such exposure without her needing to uncover days later herself. An intimacy coordinator must be present at all times when Blake Lively is on set in scenes with Mr. Baldoni.
Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't already a thing.
Yeah. No more personal, physical touching of or sexual comments by Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath to be tolerated by Blake Lively and or any of her employees, as well as any female cast or crew without their express consent. Okay. No more improvising of kissing. All intimate touch must be choreographed in advance with Blake Lively and an intimacy coordinator. No biting or sucking of lip without Blake Lively's consent, and all intimate and on-camera touch and conversations must be in character, not spoken from Mr. Baldoni to Blake Lively personally. If this is giving you guys a very, like, what the hell is going on? Me too. Blake Lively to have a representative on set at all times and with a monitor during scenes involving nudity, sexual activity, or violence with Mr. Baldoni. The entire movie, didn't the entire plot of this involve nudity, sexual acts, and violence?
I think those were the selling points, yes.
All actors participating with Blake Lively in intimate scenes involving her being in any state of nudity or simulated nudity must be classified as active working actors, not, quote, friends of the director or producers, and must be pre-approved by Blake Lively. No more filming of any Blake Lively nudity without any fully executed SAG-compliant nudity rider in place. Any such footage already shot without this rider in place and in direct violation of SAG requirements may not be used without Blake Lively and her legal representative's prior written consent. Any scene by Blake Lively or any other performer depicting the character of Lily that involves nudity or simulated sex must be conducted strictly in accordance with the above referenced nudity rider and must adhere to the Blake Lively approved script. An intimacy coordinator must be on set for all scenes involving nudity and or simulated sex and must have a monitor to ensure compliance.
Fun, right?
This is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
No more entering, attempting to enter, interrupting, pressuring, or asking Blake Lively to enter her trailer or the makeup trailer by Mr. Heath or Mr. Baldoni while she is nude for any reason. No more private multi-hour meetings in Blake Lively's trailer with Mr. Baldoni crying with no outside Blake Lively appointed representatives to monitor. No more pressing by Mr. Baldoni to sage any of Blake Lively's employees. Very odd word choice there. Producer Alex Sachs to be given standard rights, inclusion, and authority per her job description and as represented to Blake Lively when signed on. Sony to have an active role in overseeing production. Engaging an experienced producer to supervise the safety of the cast and crew. All of the above. Engagement of a Blake Lively approved A-list stunt double to perform Lily's in scenes where Mr. Baldoni involved. Oh, wow. So Blake Lively approved stunt double to perform Lily in scenes with Mr. Baldoni involving rape and or violence. I said the R word, sorry, grape. Be able to perform
It's
only
okay.
close.
You're already, it's too late. You're already demonetized.
It's too late. Close-up work or work from a Blake Lively approved shot list in scenes with Mr. Baldoni involving sexual violence. No more adding of sex scenes, oral sex, or on-camera climaxing by Blake Lively outside the scope of the script BL approved when signing onto the project. No more asking or pressuring Blake Lively to cross physical picket lines. So we have interspersed in here some things that feel very forced, some things that feel very interesting, some things that are just should have been the standard to begin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're kind of getting in a vibe of what the hell is going on the set, you're not alone. So where do we go from here? We go to the New York Times article. Are the middies watching? No, the middies are in bed. It is 9:42 p.m. I waited intentionally to get to this. Yeah.
Oh, we just thought you were distracted, but you were stalling.
Yeah. No, I was distracted and stalling at the same time.
You're like, little of column A, little of column B.
Little bit of both.
Shut up.
Exactly. So this is 80 pages. All right. At the end of the January 4th meeting, having discussed at length the details of the concerns that had been expressed by Ms. Lively and others, the parties agreed to implement and follow the protections for return to production to ensure the film could be completed, marketed, and released safely and successfully. And it was. Here's the first bit of advice I would have given. The very first bit of advice I would have given. And I do this to clients all the time. Don't sign shit like this. Just don't do it.
Now they say they never did.
Well, don't agree to it. Don't acknowledge it. Don't. I mean, this is. Don't agree to a meeting where this is even expressed or conducted. Now, if there are things in here where I'm saying, you know, if there's an actual, this is happening. I don't know. This threw me for a loop. This reads to me like some of the draft orders that I'll get in custody cases where it's like, thou shalt not bring the child around a chainsaw, you know, spinning at 3,000 miles an hour towards the child's head. No. No, you don't get to include that because yes, in the world of possibilities that could possibly be something I would do. Is that included in the list? No. Well, fathomable, but it's never going to happen. So why is it included in the list? So that's what threw me from the very beginning of this. The film has been a resounding success. I think a lot of the controversy here is leading to that success. Some of it. I don't really know because I haven't seen it. I don't really care to with all this stuff. Leading up to and in connection with the release of the film during the summer of 2024, Ms. Lively and fellow cast members promoted the film in accordance with the marketing plan created and delivered by the film's distributor, Sony, which is summarized in the talking points attached here to it. See, what you also don't really realize is these marketing plans are things you sign on to. You're contractually obligated to do a certain number of events.
Yep.
Ms. Lively and other cast members were under a contractual obligation to render promotional services. Yes, they were. The marketing plan directed the cast to focus more on Lily's strength and resilience as opposed to describing the film as a story about domestic violence, and to avoid talking about this film that makes it feel sad or heavy. It's a story of hope. Okay. In the days leading up to the film's release, Mr. Baldoni abruptly pivoted away from the film's marketing plan and the types of publicity activities in which he had previously participated. What the public did not know was that Mr. Baldoni and his team did so in an effort to explain why many of the film's cast and crew had unfollowed Mr. Baldoni on social media and were not appearing with him in public. To that end, he and his team used domestic violence survivor content to protect his public image, as described in further detail below.
Yeah, that sounds...
Wait, what's this contractual rider? Exhibit B? Did they really? Hang on. It's D. Exhibit B. References made to a certain agreement. James Heath, Blake Lively.
No, I was wrong. Did have a signature on it.
Paragraphs. And, well,
yeah.
No, they did not. They agreed to 17 paragraphs, not 30.
Yeah, it's a different document.
It's a different document. Okay. Okay. What the public also did not know was that this was the beginning of a multi-tiered plan that Mr. Baldoni and his team described as, quote, social manipulation, end quote, designed to, quote, destroy, end quote, Ms. Lively's reputation. That plan was backed by virtually unlimited resources. Whenever someone in Hollywood says unlimited resources, I just want to.
Well, the thing is that
maybe just
there's plenty of people in Hollywood who have a degree of resources that essentially is essentially unlimited.
You know who one of them are? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and that's the thing is most of the people have a level of resources that would make you or I. And I mean, I think we're fairly comfortable. Like I don't live in like a giant house or whatever, but I'm not starving. And, I'm not like I'm able to go out for dinners and so forth, which a lot of people can't do in the current economy. But, when you're talking about people who's get paid in the millions for a single film, it's like, yeah, they got money. So
Ryan Reynolds, and I see people talking about how the studio is owned by a billionaire. Ryan Reynolds is worth $350 million. Blake Lively, $30 million. Talk about $400 million, like almost $400 million there. There, like, I get that there's a billionaire and a millionaire. I understand that part. I get it. I really do. But when someone who has that amount of resources says that, like, oh my gosh, I am overwhelmed by the resources being thrown at me in this regard, I get frustrated because I'm like, you don't understand, because I'm talking about the person who's on the wrong end of a divorce case where the resources are $15,000 a year that they've got to their name, or the car that's not in their name. And they're like, I don't have the resource to fight this. I'm like, yes, you don't. And I'm going to try and make that right. I don't like when they do this kind of stuff. Does it excuse any inappropriate conduct? No, it doesn't. Not at all. I just don't like the whole unlimited resources comment. Wayfair's co-founder, co-chairman, leading financiers, multi-billionaire Steve Sarowitz, okay, who divulged to the film's New York premiere on August 6th that he was prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family. Interesting. I think we're going to hear more about that. With that backing, Mr. Baldoni and his Wayfair associates embarked on a sophisticated press and digital plan, emphasis added, in retaliation for Miss Lively exercising her legally protected right to speak up about their misconduct on set, with the additional objective of intimidating her or anyone else from revealing in public what was actually occurred. Okay. On July 31st, the following recommendation of their publicist, Jennifer Abel, Wayfair and Mr. Baldoni retained a crisis communication specialist named Melissa Nathan and her company, the agency group TAG. Ms. Nathan developed a proposal for Mr. Baldoni, which included a website to discuss, full Reddit, full social account takedowns, full social crisis team on hand for anything, engage with audiences the right way, start threads or theories. This is the way to be fully 100% protected. I don't...
Pro tip, don't put this shit in writing.
No, but also pro tip, this is not uncommon. If you have a campaign, if you have the money to put on a PR narrative to combat a negative PR narrative that's being put on by somebody else, how much money gets spent in this PR shit to shift the narrative and focus? I mean, you remember the Amber Heard Johnny Depp stuff.
They spent a ton of money.
Let me give you the punchline. Who do I believe in all of this mess? Neither of them until they start bringing in receipts.
I was going to say nobody.
Nobody. I have learned my lesson in looking at these lawsuits.
I am guessing that the truth is somewhere between the two of them, and that there is a lot of daylight between the two of them as to the truth. And I'm also going to guess that that there's daylight in both directions, right? That some of them are being accurate in some things and some of them being accurate in others. And it's probably the worst of all worlds.
Yeah. I don't believe either person's narrative. And you know what really, really, really bothers me even more? I don't like flagship media jumping onto this.
Oh, because the problem is they're going to pick a side. They're going to decide who the winner is. And a lot of it is going to be who feeds them the better story. Like when you look at the Depp v. Heard, the thing is that they decided who the winner of that was going to be. And that was kind of entertaining, but they decided who the winner was going to be, and then they just sort of kept at it. And part of that was who was going to feed them the most information, who was going to play friendlier, because then they could go and be like, and it was really interesting to watch because you had Amber Heard running this sort of traditional PR campaign of giving stories to the news media, like the big legacy media. And then we had, the Depp team, which was like, let's provide information to the only people who would listen to him.
Wait,
which was
that was several years later. That's
Well, and that's the
that's
thing is
I
nobody
think
else
that's the
was
thing that
listening to him.
this right here. If we talk about how Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, how that changed the ball game that these celebrities fight in, it changed the playing field, right? You had Amber Heard who went to Masthead Media with an article or with a proposed article. I was a survivor who went that route, right? And what did Johnny Depp do at that time? Johnny Depp did a couple of private court filings, a couple of small things here and there, but largely just said this was going to blow over. It can't pick up the steam. She's full of shit. It's not going to go that far. It's going to blow over. Well, what did we learn that was not? He learned later that's not the way to handle it, because immediately Hollywood cancels him for everything.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what friends he had. It didn't matter what he could prove or say. The article was out there and it wasn't refuted or rebutted publicly, grandly, and largely. Right. So this
Can I also
note
notice an aside? I'm just shopping for things for future land, and there's a kind of tree that is the green elf cherry plum.
Well, of course, buy that.
I feel like I've got to get some of those.
You have to, unless it's poisonous to deer. I mean, get it. It's a great idea.
No, it looks like they're. It looks like they're. They're not. So.
Well, and so getting back on topic, because Ian was off topic, I'm getting back on topic. People saw what happened to Johnny Depp, and they realized that when this happens, when this PR campaign happens, you have to fight fire with fire. So PR campaign starts, PR campaign is fought on the other side of it too. So if one person goes out there and starts spreading shit, the other person has to go out there and start refuting shit or spreading more shit. I mean, right? You can't let these things sit idly anymore.
Yep.
Because you're going to get canceled. So the part of this that is the Johnny Depp scar tissue that I have is I do not trust any of the masthead media on any of the bullshit, and the New York Times did not help.
I can already feel my back hurting from like leftover pain from sleeping outside a courthouse.
Yeah. and here's the thing about this, Marie. I saw your comment. I don't care how you feel about Blake Lively. If you think that things like this don't happen to everyone every day, you're incorrect. I know that
that's the thing. Is the question is, did it happen to her specifically, as opposed to, because this is the problem, is court cases are a very poor, they make very poor flags. Because there was lots of people who got into like Depp v. Heard on the basis of, I'm going to use this as a cause. I'm going to use this as a flag about, about domestic violence. And the thing is then you find out more information, and court cases can be messy. Court cases can defy the standard. And so it could be that everybody, this happens to lots of people, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily was also her, if that makes sense.
I agree. And this is the other part too. Renata, before New York Times, Daily Mail, Variety, and others were painting Blake as the problem. Yep. This is complete. This is how what I'm seeing is the narrative, where you have PR teams that are going out there to point the other side out as being the shithead, the person who's doing the bad. Here's where I get pissed off. I get pissed off when this shit makes its way into court filings, and now I'm trying to parse. One, it's a consumption of resources that I feel is really frustrating to have these pissing matches in court. And I hate that they're always the exemplars. They are we're going to set this straight for all the men or all the women or all the people of the what. I don't care. Court is about resolving dispute against one person and another person. This starts to sound very much like furthering your PR message through the court system. And I mean that for both of them. So I got frustrated reading some of this. I didn't make it through all the pleadings. I'm still going through them. Mr. Nathan also proposed the creation of a social fan engagement to go back and forth with any negative accounts, helping to change the narrative and stay on track. Per Mr. Nathan, all of this will be most importantly untraceable. As Apple described it, the plan was to engage in social media mitigation and proactive fan posting to counter the narrative as well as social manipulation. Footnote 3. Ms. Lively obtained the communications set forth in this complaint through legal process, including a civil subpoena. This part is fascinating to me because these communications, I believe, were forwarded to the New York Times, right? And I don't like this because I don't, and I've talked to you guys about this in the past. I don't like text messages in lawsuits. I don't like it. I hate it. I despise it. I get furious about it because if you give me your cell phone and you let me pick through your text messages, I can make you look like anything on a given day.
Well, especially when they're presented out of context.
Exactly. I fucking hate text messages in filings. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it.
So, Rob, tell us how you really feel.
This is the reason I'm covering this case right now, is the fucking text messages. This is the reason I got pissed at this case. I very much was like, I'm just going to let this one lie. I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to ignore it. And then I saw Baldoni's lawsuit against the New York Times, and I was like, mother. You want to lose credibility in any lawsuit? Pull that kind of shit. And you want to lose credibility in front of a judge? I dare you to start introducing text messages in a selective fashion.
That's the problem, is when you selective your way through your text messages, then you run the real risk that the judge is going to be like, oh, because if the judge has that moment where they thought one thing and then they have to do that mental re-evaluation because it's another, like, because what they thought is completely wrong, the judge is going to blame you for it. And is going to have some opinions on it.
Book Dragon, this is an excellent question. So what do you do when text messages are the only evidence you have of abuse? You use them in the proper context.
Yeah.
You take the good with the bad. You don't selectively take one sentence out of one message, ignoring the response or ignoring the context from 3 messages prior.
And the other thing is you can actually earn tremendous credit with a judge over that.
Yes.
Because I've had circumstances where a judge is like, you know, the other side is like, look at all this bad stuff. And it's like, yeah, Mr. Runkle told us that was there.
Yep. And in court, let me tell you what, there are certain attorneys that I litigate against where they do this, where they will pull out the selective parts of the text messages and I let them go. And I wait till the judge is really mad and really pissed off at what they're reading with the text messages. And then the judge will say something. Well, Mr. Morton, how do you answer this? And I fire back and I just go back through all of the context that was missed. And I point the finger directly at counsel. And I say that is misrepresenting information to the court. Didn't make me a fan with one attorney where I called him out to their face, but I don't particularly care because that attorney doesn't practice anymore. But
any particular reason why they don't?
They actually retired. Oh my God. There's one attorney who walked with 1 foot squarely on the side of unethical. And I both loved and hated litigating against cases against this person. But holy shit, use the good, use the bad, add context. That's your job. Your job is to argue the case as it is. Sarah, I'm not dismissing any of this. I actually will 100% agree that a lot of the shit that happens on movie sets in general is horrible. What pisses me off is when I find it in its way, when it finds its way into pleadings, and the pleadings makes one side lose credibility. That's what I hate. I hate it.
The thing is, even like if you have a good case, this is how a bad lawyer can turn a good case into a bad case. Like, this is how you can blow an excellent case by bad lawyering. So, yeah, you just got to be careful on that.
All right. So I want to do this because the lawsuit, this lawsuit itself is 208 pages, right? But this lawsuit, I don't know if this lawsuit was the only thing that got filed. I don't know that you would have seen very much out of Baldoni's side other than the PR campaign. But it was this article that kind of piggybacked the lawsuit and jumped on board with this. We can bury anyone inside a Hollywood smear machine. A legal complaint lays out an alleged campaign to tarnish Blake Lively after she accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us. Last summer, as the release of It Ends With Us approached, Justin Baldoni, the director and star of the film, and Jamie Heath, the lead producer, hired a crisis public relations expert. During shooting, Blake Lively, the co-star, had complained that the men had repeatedly violated physical boundaries and made sexual and other inappropriate comments to her. Again, I don't disagree that that happens, and I don't disagree in this instance that that would have happened. Terrible. Their studio agreed to provide a full-time intimacy coordinator. Good, logical. Bring an outside producer and put other safeguards on set. Good. Absolutely. In a side letter to Ms. Lively's contract, signed by Mr. Heath, the studio also agreed not to retaliate against the actress. But by August, the two men who had positioned themselves as feminist allies in the #MeToo era expressed fears that her allegations would become public and taint them, according to a legal complaint that she filed Friday. It claims that their PR effort had an explicit goal to harm Ms. Lively's reputation instead. Her filing includes excerpts from thousands of pages of text, messages, and emails that she obtained through a subpoena. These and other documents were reviewed by the New York Times. Now, this is where the New York Times gets a little bit, maybe a little bit in trouble, because they're saying they reviewed everything. There have long been figures behind the scenes shaping public opinion about celebrities through gossip columns, tabloids, and strategic interviews. Isn't that what you're doing? Same with Variety, same with Daily Mail. The documents show an additional playbook for waging a largely undetectable smear campaign in the digital era, making the film about domestic violence as a box office hit, making nearly $350 million worldwide. Online criticism of the actress skyrocketed. No, I thought I had this one. Hang on. Do not want the whole thing, please. Give me a second. Internet's being internet. Rude. They have ad detectors now. Rather, they have like when you try to bypass their ad blocker, they have a way of detecting that now. Stupid. That's annoying. All right. Let me see. Let's go to this one because we're going to go back to Blake Lively. We're going to give her the last word. So Wayfarer Studios files a lawsuit against New York Times as a result of that article. Where was it? Give me 1 second here. Let me try one more thing to try and find this thing. Oh yeah, New York Times, by the way, has archive detector. So when you try to go oh yeah, that was what I just did.
They're getting too sneaky now.
I know. That was what I just did because I went to archive to try and find, and they have a way of detecting whether you're trying to use it.
That's obnoxious.
So let me see if I can't find a different mention of it. That's really annoying. How dare you become smart and realize what I'm trying to do?
At the worst possible time.
I know. Let's find the previous one. Aha. All right. Found one. Here we go. All right. While the film about domestic violence was a box office hit, making nearly 350 million worldwide, online criticism of the actress skyrocketed. He wants to feel like she can be buried, a publicist working with the studio, and Mr. Baldoni wrote in an August 2nd message to the crisis management expert, Melissa Nathan. You know you can bury anyone, Miss Nathan wrote. In the following weeks, Miss Nathan, whose clients have included Johnny Depp and the rappers Drake and Travis Scott, went hard at the press, pushing to prevent stories about Mr. Baldoni's behavior and reinforce negative ones about Ms. Lively. The text messages show. Jed Wallace, a self-described hired gun, led a digital strategy that included boosting social media posts that could help their cause. An attorney for Wayfarer said in a statement to the Times that the studio, its executives, and public relations representatives did nothing too proactive nor retaliated against Ms. Lively and accused the actress of another desperate attempt to fix her negative reputation. These claims are completely false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious with an intent to publicly hurt and rehash a narrative in the media, the lawyer Brian Friedman wrote. Mr. Friedman did not address her allegations about misconduct during the filming by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath. He alleged that Ms. Lively planted negative and completely fabricated and false stories with media about Mr. Baldoni, which he said was another reason why Wayfarer Studios made the decision to hire a crisis professional. The effort to tarnish Ms. Lively appears to have paid off. Within days of the film's release, the negative media coverage and commentary became an unusually high percentage of her online presence. According to a forensic review she sought from a brand marketing consultant. Who was the consultant? Because if his name was Christopher Boozy.
Oh, please tell me it's not Boozy.
Doesn't this track, though? This is the question I have. Isn't this language very, 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 very similar to what Boozy did for Amber Heard? That would be, I hope it's not. I really hope it's not. Oh my God, I hope it's not. Ms. Lively, who's married to the actor and entrepreneur Ryan Reynolds of Deadpool fame and is close to Taylor Swift, experienced the biggest reputational hit of her career. She was branded tone deaf, difficult to work with, a bully. Sales of her new hair care line plummeted. Is Blake Lively's set to be canceled? Read a Daily Mail headline 1 week into the attacks. Mr. Baldoni, by contrast, emerged largely unscathed. This month, he was honored as a star-studded event celebrating men who elevate women, combat gender-based violence, and promote gender equality worldwide. On Saturday, however, this article was published. After this article was published, the talent agency William Morris Endeavor stopped representing Mr. Baldoni, said R.A. Emanuel, Chief Executive Officer of Endeavor. Ms. Lively's complaint against Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, Wayfarer, Steve Sarowitz, and co-founder of the studio, Mr. Wallace, Ms. Nathan, and Jennifer Abel, another public relations executive involved in the campaign, alleged sexual harassment and retaliation, among other claims. The complaint was filed with the California Civil Rights Department, is a precursor to a lawsuit. In a statement, Ms. Lively said, "I hope that my legal action helps pull back the curtain on these sinister retaliatory tactics to harm people who speak up about misconduct and helps protect others who may be targeted." I don't like this. I don't like this. I understand. This is no. I don't like that. It's not about lawsuits are not should not be examples of protecting. I agreed with everything. You have a complaint against the company. You sue the company. You get damaged by the company. You sue the fucking company. You sue them out of existence. You sue the hell out of them for what they're doing. But when you go out there and you hold a fucking banner over your head, either one of them, him when it comes to like, I support women and all the above, her when it comes to this, I'm doing this for women and all the above, put down the banisters, people. Stop.
Yeah. I said it before. A court case is a poor flag.
She also denied that she or any of her representatives planted or spread negative information about Mr. Baldoni or Wayfarer. Quote, "We should have a plan." In May, several months after filming Wrapped, Mr. Baldoni realized that Mr. Reynolds had blocked him on Instagram. "We should have a plan for if she does the same when the movie comes out." Mr. Baldoni wrote of Ms. Lively in a text exchange that included Ms. Abel, a publicist who has long worked with him and Wayfarer. "Plans make me feel more at ease." Mr. Baldoni, 40, and Mr. Heath, 55, had a lot riding on the film, which is based on a best-selling novel by Colleen Hoover. Mr. Baldoni was best known for the CW satirical romantic dramedy, Jane the Virgin. Wayfarer provided the resources for bigger ambitions. It was bankrolled by billionaire Steve Sarowitz, who was the co-chair of the studio with Mr. Baldoni. They and Mr. Heath, the chief executive, are all deeply involved with the Baha'i religious organization, which promotes unity, peace, and gender equality. Mr. Baldoni has represented himself as an ally to women, writing books, co-hosting a podcast with Mr. Heath, and giving talks on toxic masculinity. Ms. Lively, 37, was by far the bigger star. The TV show Gossip Girl catapulted her to early fame, and she appeared in films ranging from The Sister of the Traveling Pants to The Town. She built businesses outside of her entertainment industry, 45 million Instagram followers, covers glossy magazines. Ms. Lively has expressed concerns about Mr. Baldoni from the beginning, according to her legal complaint. Oh, by the way, I'd like simple favor, like Blake Lively, love that movie. I think she's a good actress. I think Ryan Reynolds is a good actor too.
I haven't seen any of the stuff. Reynolds is a great actor. I haven't seen any of her stuff.
Simple Plan, great movie. Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively, phenomenal movie. Before shooting began,
but I have not seen it.
That's fair. Before shooting began, for example, she objected to sex scenes where he wanted to add that she considered gratuitous. Good.
Reasonable.
They should not have been added. Yeah. In November of 2023, as the cast of It Ends With Us was preparing to resume shooting after a months-long writer's strike, Ms. Lively went to Wayfarer with the side letter seeking safeguards. Her client is willing to forego a more formal HR process in favor of everyone returning to work and finishing the film as long as the set is safe moving forward, her legal team wrote to the studio. The second that this is where Ian, if you're advising a client that happens to run a studio and this is, if you get this letter from a legal team
I start fires.
And I immediately hire a PR team.
I'm not even sure if they're metaphorical fires, but they might be literal fires.
Yeah. This is like, this is your red flag. One, if I'm legal counsel to Justin Baldoni or this studio, I say burn the film to the ground.
Yeah.
Spend a bunch of money on it, burn the film to the ground. Just, this ain't gonna turn out well for anybody.
Or you like attach a leash to the guy's neck and he is not permitted to do anything anymore without
I just torch the film. I take the PR hit. I start working on something else. So, Ian, would you mind reading for a second? I have to jump off.
Sure. Which, where are we at there?
She detailed
her complaints during a meeting with Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, and other producers in January, according to the legal filing. She claimed Mr. Baldoni had improvised unwanted kissing and discussed his sex life, including encounters in which he said he may not have received consent. Yeah, that's a thing that, like, what? Of all the self-snitching out there, like, what the hell? If that's how you roll, you belong in a cell. Ideally, the smallest cell that is available, but B, okay, that's a whole thing to like.
Yeah.
You can see why a woman would be uncomfortable with that, or why anybody would be uncomfortable with that, where it's like, hey, you know what? I don't always get consent. It's like, oh, that's creepy AF. Yeah, I am not cool with that. But yeah, improvised unwanted kissing. Any of those scenes are basically, they got to be super well planned. That's not something where you can wing it.
Yeah, you don't walk into someone's like trailer and say, let's practice kissing. No. And then in the same sentence say, I did this to someone without their consent. Generally speaking, that doesn't go over well. So, Mr. Heath had shown her a video of his wife naked, she said, and he watched Ms. Lively in her trailer when she was topless and having body makeup removed, despite her asking him to look away. She said that both men repeatedly entered her makeup trailer uninvited while she was undressed, including when she was breastfeeding. In agreeing to the terms that Ms. Lively sought, Wayfarer acknowledged that although our perspective differs in many aspects, ensuring a safe environment for all is paramount, according to her legal complaint. Again, if I was counsel advising this movie studio, I would have said burn it to the ground. Just like putting that in writing, like this whole, although our perspectives differ in many aspects, that is not going to undo what
was
Lively has now portrayed as being an acknowledgement of certain conditions. Because the second that you sign on to that, you are acknowledging in some respect that this is happening, whether you think you are or not. By the spring, Ms. Lively told people she worked with that the men's behavior had improved with the new protections. But she was now in a creative battle with them. With the support of Sony, the film's distributor, she made her own cut of the movie, bringing in editors and a composer and adding one of Miss Swift's songs. All right. In the end, Sony and Wayfarer went with Ms. Lively's cut and she got a producer credit. So people that were saying she was a producer as well, it looks like she got a producer credit at the end. From what I can see here. As the film's release neared, Ms. Lively and other cast members informed Sony and Wayfarer that they would not do any appearances alongside Mr. Baldoni. So did Ms. Hoover, the author, who had her own dissatisfactions with him and had become more upset after he told her about Ms. Lively's allegations, according to text message from Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath. Quote, most importantly, untraceable. By the first week of August, Wayfarer and Mr. Baldoni had retained Ms. Nathan, who had worked with high-profile clients, including Mr. Depp, whose ex-wife Amber Heard accused him of physical abuse. Mr. Depp successfully sued Ms. Heard for defamation, and the trial became a spectacle amid suspicions of an online campaign to damage her credibility. All right, New York Times, you want to lose some more credibility? Try spinning that trial as anything other than what it was. Don't equate the two. This year, after a decade in New York consultancy, Hiltzik Strategies, Ms. Nathan started her own firm, Tag PR. Its majority stakeholder is a company run by entertainment industry executive Scooter Braun. Well, that's an interesting connection to Taylor Swift. Isn't Scooter Braun the one that
I don't know.
held on to the rights for her music that she sued? And
I'm not sure. Could be. I'm bad with like names in that sense. So if so, that's an ugly that's an ugly little crossover.
He bought the rights. He bought the rights to a lot of her music, which is why she went out and made the new album. She rewrote, or she recorded all of her old music to get out from under him. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that story. Yeah.
An initial planning document sent to Wayfair.
Kind of a badass move, honestly.
What, the re-recording?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ms. Nathan suggested media talking points, including that Ms. Lively used an imbalance of power to take creative control of the film. But Mr. Baldoni wanted more. Not in love with the document they sent, he responded a text exchange that included Ms. Abel and Mr. Heath. Not sure I'm feeling the protection I felt on the call. Ms. Abel related his frustration to Ms. Nathan. I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. He wants to feel like she can be buried. Of course. But you know, when we send over the documents, we can't send over the work we will or could do because that would get us in a lot of trouble. Can't write, we will destroy her. Moments later, she said, imagine if a document saying all the things that he wants ends up being in the wrong hands. You know, we can bury anyone, she wrote.
Yeah, it's not a great line.
No. 3 days later, Baldoni texted Abel, flagging a social media thread that accused another celebrity of bullying behavior and had generated 19 million views. This is what we would need, he wrote. Ms. Nathan soon floated proposals to hire contractors to dominate social media through full social account takedowns by starting threads of theories and generally working to change narrative. All of this will be most importantly untraceable, she wrote. Nothing is untraceable, not when you have lawsuits. This is stupid. Within days, the group was working with Mr. Wallace, whose company Street Relations offers services ranging from public relations to more opaque crisis management. He is a somewhat enigmatic figure with very little digital trail, but court records show that his clients have included Paramount Pictures and the YouTube personality Aiden Ross. Is this the only text that they in the August 6th premiere? How long is this article? Oh my God. New York Times. I thought brevity was actually an art form that these guys used to have. Fake bots. Oh my. Hollywood Reporter story speculated about a rift between Ms. Lively and Mr. Baldoni after TikTokers noticed that the two stars didn't pose for photographs together, and that Ms. Lively and other cast members didn't follow Mr. Baldoni on Instagram.
I was going to say, people are really good at finding that stuff.
Yeah, though they very much are. People, I think they scout for it. I don't know how they do it, but the unfollow thing is a thing. So the unfollow situation is what everyone is pointing at, seemingly that something is much bigger under the surface as why would they all unfollow? We flagged this to Jed and his team as well. Ms. Nathan has already been speaking with other journalists. According to text messages, she wrote, I'm having reckless thoughts of wanting to plant pieces this week on how horrible Blake is to work with, just to get ahead of it. She's ready when we are. A flurry of articles followed the Hollywood Reporter piece. Many made it seem as if the only rift was over creative control. Some journalists had gotten wind of complaints about Mr. Baldoni's behavior, but none of the most serious ones were published. He doesn't realize how lucky he is right now, Ms. Nathan texted Ms. Eibel. In other exchanges, Ms. Nathan claimed she had kept allegations against him out of stories, writing in one message that major news outlets were standing down on the HR complaint. So are we in the clear now? Did we survive? We survived. All press is so overwhelming. We've confused people so much. Mixed messages is actually really funny if you think about it. Hollywood is a dirty game, man. People think lawyers are dirty. All right. Daily Mail articles. Other independent articles. Posting tips, video interviews with Johnny Depp. Criticism against the booze company. It's unclear how Mr. Wallace operated. There are references and emails to social manipulation and proactive fan posting. And text messages cite efforts to boost and amplify online content. It was favorable to Mr. Baldoni or critical of Ms. Lively. We are crushing it on Reddit, Mr. Wallace told Ms. Nathan, according to a text she sent to Ms. Eibel on August 9th. Socials are ramping up. TikTok sleuths. Other times he appeared to vacillate, seeking assurances about the tactics being deployed. When he noticed a tabloid article critical of Ms. Lively, he sends a worried text. How can we say somehow that we are not doing any of this? It looks like we are trying to take her down. On another occasion, he wonders whether they were deploying fake bot accounts on social media. I can fully confirm we do not have bots, Ms. Nathan wrote, adding that any digital team would be too intelligent to utilize something so obvious. Mr. Wallace's operation, she wrote, is doing something very specific in terms of what they do. I know Jamie and Jed connected on this. The narrative online is so freaking good. Fans are sticking up for Justin, and there's literally been no pickup of those two articles, which is actually shocking to me. But I see this as a total success, as does Justin. Guys, this is PR. This is what PR does. All right. That's the most recent lawsuit. Then Justin sues New York Times. Have you read this complaint yet?
I haven't read the the flip suit. So that was on my list of things to do this weekend.
With the libel complaint?
Yep, it's on my list of things to do for the weekend because I'm gonna try to get a video out.
Yeah. Here's the problem. It's in California.
Oh,
So,
that's the worst.
It's anti-slap. It's not going anywhere. I think this is a PR stunt. Or not PR stunt. This is to get back in charge of the PR narrative and to put New York Times on its heels and make them defend the case.
Yeah,
But
California is not where you bring this if you can avoid it. I think in the Janet suit, I described California as like where you send a case to die.
Yeah. Plaintiffs sue New York Times. At 9:46 p.m. on Friday, December 20th, New York Times reporter Megan Twohy requested plaintiffs' response to an imminent 4,000-word bombshell. No wonder that thing was 4,000 words. Man, I don't get that much when I'm writing a brief to the appeals court.
I'm pretty sure I've sent things to the Supreme Court that were shorter than that.
Jeez. 4,000 words. Oh, yeah. Share the new screen. There we go. Complaint. So 9:46 p.m. on Friday, 4,000 word bombshell story concerning their alleged orchestration of a smear campaign targeting Blake Lively.
And Ricky, yes, there is going to be some more on Janet soon. It might not be the thing I want, but we're going to look at the copyright suit or the copyright claim she's got.
The production company and Wayfair, its principals, Baldoni Heath, and its PR representatives were asked to provide on-the-record comment and to notify the Times of any inaccuracies by noon the next day on December 21st, a mere 14 hours overnight. Okay. They promptly denied Lively's accusations reported by the Times and criticized both Lively and the Times' reliance on cherry-picked and altered communications, stripped of necessary context and deliberately spliced to mislead. Now,
cherry-picked is one thing. Deliberately altered is
and spliced.
Yeah.
So let me show you what they're talking about. This. You see how these don't really look like a text message would read?
You remember how Boozy pulled that shit?
Uh-huh.
And you remember how I made fun of him for it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I may also have to make fun of. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where you're going to get my backup. Despite its claim to have reviewed these along with other documents, the Times relied almost entirely on Lively's unverified and self-serving narrative, lifting it nearly verbatim while disregarding an abundance of evidence that contradicted her claims and exposed her true motives. But the Times did not care. Given the breadth of the article and the coordinated drop, it is readily apparent that the Times had been quietly working in concert with Lively's team for weeks or months. The Times participated actively in the legal maneuvering at the heart of Lively's strategy. Notably, Lively chose not to file a lawsuit against Baldoni, Wayfair, or any of the plaintiffs, a choice that spared her from scrutiny of the discovery process, including answering questions under oath and producing her communications. This sentence is no longer true, because Blake Lively just filed a lawsuit this week, which means we're going to get discovery, which means we're going to figure out what's going on here. The decision was no accident. First, her administrative complaint is rife with blatant falsehoods and egregious misrepresentations that would have subjected her to dismissal, if not sanctions. These are really big words. Like, this is one of those where you hope, Mr. Lawyer, I hope you are correct in this regard. Because when you say dismissal and sanctions, you better mean it. Second, pursuing formal legal action would have derailed her true objective and orchestrated a campaign to rehabilitate her public image. Instead, she filed a request for a right to sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department. A procedural formality that does not require pleadings, remains confidential unless leaked, as it was here, and crucially does not subject the complainant to discovery. While such a letter can precede a lawsuit, it's clearly the litigation was never her ultimate goal. Yo, Baldoni. Pro tip, don't put into a pleading that you clearly did not intend to sue my ass. Otherwise, you would have.
Yeah, that is a good way to... yeah, it's kind of a good way to to get somebody to go call.
It is clear that litigation was never her ultimate goal. Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. To which Blake Lively replied, bet. Yeah. She was like, yeah.
Rob appears not to have successfully held his beer.
Oh no.
Rob, what did you do?
My mouse has the thumb button. It's the back button.
Oh yeah, you need to turn that right off.
Yeah. The thumb button. Hit the thumb button.
I did not I did not murder Rob. People accusing me of murdering Rob. It's like, nope.
No, just like I went to click and the thumb clicked. Her real intention was to weaponize the appearance of legitimacy conferred by a numbered legal document to launch salacious, headline-grabbing allegations and reshape her public persona at the expense of the plaintiffs. Oh my God. Okay. Lively found willing allies in the New York Times, which uncritically embraced her CRD complaint as fact and disregarded the plaintiff's emphatic objections. Without even waiting for the response deadline of noon, the Times rushed to publish its inflammatory article, "We Can Bury Anyone," at 10:11 a.m. Yeah, he literally said, "We're going to wait till noon for you to respond," and they published at 10 a.m. The disregard for journalistic integrity and the fairness resulted in an article rife with inaccuracies, misrepresentations, and omissions. Who's the New York Times? What happened to this newspaper?
Well, they made
In
some
an era,
choices.
they've made so many bad ones. Just it's stupid. In an era where public trust in the media has reached a historic low and legacy outlets are increasingly criticized as biased and agenda-driven, the Times has chosen to double down on sensationalism and oversimplified narratives. All right, so let's get to some.
Accurate.
Yeah. If the Times truly reviewed the thousands of private communications it claims to have obtained, its reporters would have seen incontrovertible evidence that it was Lively, not the plaintiffs, who engaged in a calculated smear campaign. That's a bold claim. The complete communications demonstrate beyond question that plaintiffs had no intention of destroying or burying Lively through aggressive tactics. On the contrary, Baldoni consistently expressed his desire to avoid harming Lively and protect the film, but also recognized legitimate need for public relations protection in light of Lively's false and damaging claims. So, this is more messages. Good morning. Sharing with you the perfect example of why we don't use bots. I wouldn't even worry to think they've hired a team as A, nothing to find. B, they hired an awful team, which I've sent our guy to track and pull so we can have evidence of it. The below should answer anyone's questions as to whether a bot team looks like when every single comment suddenly skews in her favor in a nonsensical way. Oh, at least sprinkle them in. She needs to fire her bot team. This is why I hate these lawsuits. Hate it. Because the Times article just lost credibility. How can someone say they're doing that? So here is all the context. And this is the cherry-picked one. How can we say somehow that we're not doing any of this? It looks like we're trying to take her down. It doesn't. Doing all this themselves, and it's really obvious. This is bots. Okay, please monitor. Things I'm worried about is that we are planting these stories, which is not true, obviously. All of these are taken out of context and actually highlighted as little bubbles. There's the article. It ends with us. Sony chief crisis praised Blake Lively for advancing blah, blah, blah. They messaged me 5 minutes before this went up. Tag team exclusive, yada, yada. So glad Blake was praised. Let her get a win. It would be nice to have a Sony executive praise Justin. Oh, so they're looking for positive praise by everybody. The article is predicated on Lively's CRD complaint, which references text exchanges between Nathan and Abel as purported evidence that Nathan planted a negative story in the Daily Mail titled, "Is Blake Lively Set to Be Canceled?" Lively's portrayal is categorically false, misleading, and devoid of any factual basis, yet knowingly endorsed by the Times, which claimed to have reviewed thousands of pages of text messages and emails. The smear campaign hinges on an August 16th text exchange in which Nathan allegedly shared a link to this article with Abel. The text exchange shows Abel responding, "Wow," followed by, "You really outdid yourself with this one," to which Nathan allegedly replied, "That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best." These messages constitute the entirety of the purported evidence underlying the allegation of a smear campaign orchestrated on behalf of Baldoni. But they don't include some of these other things, like the sarcastic comment, the other stuff here about the joke, blah, 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 unacceptable. The Times Herald was unaware these text messages were unscrupulously altered and selectively edited, enabling both Lively and her team and the Times to propagate a false smear campaign. For example, they left out this part. Damn, this is unfair because it's also not me. Everything now looks like it's me. Maybe not to you. Left that part out, left that part out, left that part out, left that part out.
And when you can have like complaint and then the truth, and you could show, you know, oh, right, you left out the emojis, you left out. Here's the other thing is that they might not have left out the emojis intentionally, because what can happen is you can use software
can lose it.
that rips all that stuff off, like out of your system. But some of that software doesn't capture those little nuances and critical bits. And so you have to be really careful, because the court is not going to forgive you for like, oh, well, my bad. I just, you know, the software I use just doesn't do that. The court's going to be like, yeah, no, like you're required to, because you told us what was going on there. And if you're a lawyer and you're not careful about this stuff, you can run yourself into some real, real crap, because you never want to be standing in front of a judge going, so, you said a bunch of things and they're not accurate. And why did you not? Why are those things not accurate? So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's excusable. Well, yes and no. But it's interesting because the Times also goes on. They say they ignored their own reporting. Like in August 17th, they actually published an article themselves, the press tour drama explained, in which the reporter observes Lively's promotion of the movie has included a push for her new hair care line, discussion to close in the movie, and a response to questions about abuse, which have been criticized as shallow and tone deaf. Baldoni, by contrast, has emphasized the importance of raising awareness of domestic violence and providing resources for those in similar situations. So the Times themselves have published negatively about Lively in this press tour. Oh, and then they excluded text messages about this where they fucked themselves. Jesus. So the reporter says Blake Lively's little bump taunt felt like a bullet. TMZ, laughing my ass off. We interviewed her too. Let me find that interview. Fucked her. Melissa Nathan, when? Also, what the fuck am I? Why am I in this too? You're a starlet. So there's a whole thing in this where even actions not being taken by the PR team are being attributed to the PR team. Gee, what does that sound like? Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. Awesome. This is why I hate this stuff ending up in lawsuits, because shit, how do you prove any of it? Except for the part where you're altering messages. Lively's marketing efforts, which included encouraging audiences to grab your friends, wear your florals, while promoting her hair care and alcohol brands, were widely criticized as insensitive. This was particularly glaring given the World WHO's statistics showing that 55% of domestic violence incidents involve alcohol. Her actions naturally triggered organic public criticism and unleashed a cycle of negative coverage, including, as it is common knowledge in the digital age, the resurfacing of old unflattering content. There's a back and forth about florals. Oh, we didn't tell Jed to go after the idea that her promo was inappropriate. That happened organically because people saw the actual movie and were like, wait, this is a movie about domestic violence that they wore florals to. Crazy way to market the movie. Nothing to do with that. Okay. Far from being a product of calculated smear campaign by plaintiffs, the backlash against Lively was the inevitable fallout of her own tone-deaf messaging and self-promotion tactics, amplified by her inability to read the room in addressing such a serious subject. Oh, no. Melissa Nathan, none of us would ever do this. Responding to a article about the drama. Also, no one even pays any attention to this person past 2005. He's not relevant. So talking about one of the commenters. It's organic. She's blown herself up by her own actions. This just ran. Obviously, none of us knew about this either. But once media goes in, they go in. Gee, you mean to say that people poach articles, headlines, and things from each other all the time, and they don't fact check anything, like the Tiger Woods story or the Amber Heard story or the Jason Momoa story?
You can keep going. There's more stories.
There's so many more stories. So many stories. The one that I broke, or the one that I destroyed, was the one about Tiger Woods, who was it? TMZ reported, and within 5 minutes, everyone copied TMZ's headline and had their own articles that were AI rewritten versions of the TMZ headline. And I went into court documents and court filing and found out it's all bullshit. 5 minutes. Oh,
I mean, you expect them to put in 5 minutes of effort?
a non-mouse. Jason Momoa story. LA Times ran an article that said Jason Momoa testified on behalf of Johnny Depp at the Amber Heard trial. They had that in the article.
Yeah, that is not a thing that happened.
So I hate media. Blake Lively fearing for her career amid it ends with us backlash. God, I'm so over this. I'm sure Leslie thinks we placed this one as well. Yep, and same. Thing is, salacious headlines sell articles. They sell clicks. You say one bullshit story, and then everyone else makes up bullshit stories. They have a narrative they want to go after. They go after it. This is why I hate lawsuits where the lawsuit is the big fucking banner. Yes, a lot of really bad shit happens on movie sets. Absolutely. Yes,
Yep.
women get targeted for any number of horrible, absolutely terrible remarks that would be deserving of a fucking punch in the face, a smack across the back of the head, termination on the spot, any number of things. But a lawsuit is not the banner.
We do not support violence except if it's funny.
Yes. Yeah. So, where is all of the truth in this? Where does it exist? Because the complaint goes on for 80 more pages illustrating the different parts of the text message were taken out of context. First of all, is the complaint going anywhere? Realistically, the answer is, oh, no, do this. Realistically, in California, the answer is no. It's not. Because California has some of the strongest anti-slap laws in place. Anti-slap is laws that are in place that prevent salacious litigation against public persons. Basically, it means that in order to prove defamation, you have to survive and get over a remarkable hurdle to get in front of a judge. And in California, that hurdle is near insurmountable. Marilyn Manson case being one of them, being an exemplar of that hurdle in effect. So it's not enough to have a whole bunch of bullshit. It's not enough to have a whole bunch of smear, lies, and other stuff. You actually have to show maliciousness. And it's not going to happen here. This complaint by Justin Baldoni against the New York Times was to basically start shifting the narrative back to try and do a counterpunch. However, I don't know. Part of me is wondering whether this was intentionally aimed to get this. Blake Lively sued on New Year's Eve in Southern District of New York. So Blake Lively versus Wayfarer Studios. Justin Baldoni, an individual. So James Heath. So he sues the individual. She sues the individuals and the companies. Complaint.
And now she's going to be open to discovery.
Huh?
That opens a whole great big door.
Which I imagine both PR teams. I mean, dude, PR teams interacting with law firms is a creepy thing. It's a very creepy thing. And you saw this in the Depp v. Heard case.
Mm-hmm.
It feels wrong, right? Like that litigation discovery ends up out there on the internet. And if I'm the lawyer in this, I'm sitting here saying, we're going to agree to a protective order that says that nothing gets out. But
Yep.
I imagine that one side or the other is going to say, no, we're not going to agree to that because we want it to get out. So I imagine one of the things that we are going to see first is a motion to dismiss.
I mean, there's always a motion to dismiss.
Always. And discovery doesn't get in federal court. Discovery doesn't begin until motions to dismiss are resolved. So state court in Virginia, at least, we can file a complaint and we get discovery immediately. We don't have to wait until certain motions are resolved before we get discovery. So we can initiate discovery immediately, right? And we can, if we receive discovery, we can file a motion to suspend discovery until we get other motions resolved. But usually discovery begins immediately. In federal court, however, discovery is suspended until it's actually authorized, until you resolve motion to dismiss, pleas in bar, other stuff like that, because they don't, in federal court, they actually create a hurdle there. They say, we're not going to require parties to incur all this cost of discovery until we actually have a bona fide case, until we acknowledge that, right? So
It's got to be an actual thing to
exactly. So the complaint largely tracks what the other complaint was. You can see the first few paragraphs are the exact same. They're identical to the very beginning of it. Now let's go to the counts, because now we actually have the counts alleged with specificity. 1 second. Let's see.
And guys, I think he's skipping over some stuff because it's 93 pages and we got places
I can't
to be,
cover it
but,
all. And
I will go through everything at some point.
Yeah. And I've also been saying like that I don't mean to be skipping the good parts. I am bringing this to an example to basically say, one, don't trust any media reporting on the actual document. Go read the fucking document. I will post a link to the documents in the description of the video so you can go read the document. Please go read the document. Please go read it. All of it, all 93 pages. If I sat here and read 93 pages to you, I can't do that.
I'm debating. I can't do it Sunday because I've got a, well, I could do it after lunch. I've got a lunch appointment, but I might do it tomorrow or Sunday afternoon and just be like, all right, bring us, bring a meal because we're going to go through the whole dang thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot to it.
There is. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and find the one part. Mm-hmm. Parties, background, actual allegations. Begins at page, so we'll go to page. Here, people are mad at me for not getting into some of the actual allegations. The thing is, sorry, give me 1 second. I have another window open and scanning real quick. Crisis management. No, we're going to go back to the actual allegations of conduct. Here, we'll go to the cause of actions. These are the actual allegations of what took place. I hate these allegations. There's some that are good and there's some that are just crap. I think I talked about this with not the Diddy stuff. Who was the other one? It was no, it was some of the Diddy complaints. It was some of the Diddy complaints where it's like, stop mixing crap in with your good allegations.
And that's the problem, is if you have a good argument and you add crap in, then the only thing the court ends up hearing is the crap, and you end up spending your entire time to get to speak on dealing with garbage. And yeah.
21. Here we go. Okay, so Mr. Baldoni inserted improvised gratuitous sexual content and or scenes involving nudity into the film.
Hopefully
including
better
for underage character in highly unsettling ways. This all right. Someone point me to one of the allegations here. Someone point me to one of the allegations, because this part, I understand a lot of this stuff as being unsettling and inappropriate. I get it. Intimacy coordinator. Give me 1 sec. And guys, yes, the ADHD is not helping. I'm looking at the chat and all the different comments, and I'm reading all of them. There we go. Page 17. This is inappropriate conduct. Mr. Baldoni launched Wayfair, blah, blah, blah. Co-founder, production began. Wayfair failed to adhere to guild rules, as well as Ms. Lively's contract and standard industry safety protocols with respect to nudity and intimate scenes, which SAG and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, SAG-AFTRA, acknowledges place performers in uniquely vulnerable situations. Such safeguards ignored by Wayfair included providing performers with appropriate notice of nudity and simulated sex, and ensuring that 1, consent is given free of pressure or coercion. 2, signed nudity riders are in place spelling out the parameters of nudity and simulated sex scenes. 3, safe and securing working conditions that are not detrimental to a performer's health, safety, morals, and career. And 4, the use of intimacy coordinators to observe intimate scenes. Without these protections in place, Mr. Baldoni improvised physical intimacy that had not been rehearsed, choreographed, or discussed with Miss Lively with no intimacy coordinator involved. For instance, Mr. Baldoni discreetly bit and sucked on Miss Lively's lower lip during a scene in which he improvised numerous kisses on each take. See, that's not okay at all, especially if the scope of the set or of the script did not call for that. He insisted on shooting a full scene over and over again, well beyond what would have been required for on an ordinary set without advance notice or consent. On another occasion, he and Ms. Lively were filming a slow dance scene for a montage in which no sound was recorded. He chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Riley. Instead, he spoke to Ms. Lively out of character as himself. At one point, he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck, and he said, "It smells so good." None of this was remotely in character or based on any dialogue in the script, and nothing needed to be said because, again, there was no sound. Mr. Baldoni was caressing Miss Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with their roles. When Ms. Lively later objected to this behavior, Mr. Baldoni's response was, "I'm not even attracted to you." See, that is, nope, that's harassment. That's fucked up. These are the allegations that you stick with. These ones. And this is very much Blake Lively shooting back and saying, "Oh, you're not going to sue me," or "I'm not going to sue you." And her saying, "You bet, I'm going to sue you." We started with the complaint in California. Then we went to his lawsuit against New York Times. And now we're going to Blake's rebuttal. 3 lawsuits. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And everyone's going to have an opinion about this. That's the thing. Everyone's going to have an opinion. Mr. Baldoni inserted improvised gratuitous sexual content.
Only mine will be correct.
Yeah. I'm not going to even express one on this one. I don't have an opinion on this one. My opinion is they're all liars until they're not. Yeah, they're all liars until they're not. After Ms. Lively signed on to the movie based on the draft of the script, Mr. Baldoni, without Ms. Lively's knowledge or consent, personally added graphic content, including a scene in which Ms. Lively was to orgasm on camera. That's not the script I signed on to, therefore I'm not doing it. When Ms. Lively objected to the additions, Mr. Baldoni insisted he had added them because he was making the film through the female gaze. Insert joke. Can I insert a joke here?
With extreme caution.
Leave it to a man to insert a female orgasm where one wasn't had. I mean,
you're not wrong. but
terrible. Not called for in the script that we signed off on.
I am just going to
I mean, come on, Ian. Of all the jokes I could have made, that one was
I will admit there are worse options.
Although he agreed to remove the scenes, he made a last-ditch attempt to keep the one in which the couple orgasmed together on their wedding night. Well, you know, which he said was important to him because he and his partner climaxed simultaneously during intercourse, or he was trying to make something real that doesn't exist in his real life. I can go on. We're going to leave it right where it was. Oh. He then intrusively asked Ms. Lively whether she and her husband climaxed simultaneously during intercourse. And that's an HR harassment right there. Boom. See you later. Bye. Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah. For the guys who might not know, there is a circumstance where you can ask a woman that, and that is in your imagination, and that's as far as it goes.
wait. No, back up for a second. When is the circumstance when you can ask another person that?
When you're asleep dreaming, when you're imagining it. If it actually ventures out into a real thing that is happening, then the answer to that is no. Like, then just don't.
Or when it's your spouse. Again, these are all allegations. And I know he has a different story. They are all going to have different stories. I'm looking at the allegations.
I mean, if it's your actual spouse, you shouldn't ask whether their spouse... Never mind.
Yeah. Why am I, of course, why am I not getting into the details of this? Because they are both going to have completely different narratives of how this happened. 100%.
And Rob, the chat is very annoyed that you are skipping the critical bits.
I know they are.
Chat, I will go over things when I can.
Birth scene, non-essential persons. You guys, this... Everything's out of context. Everything's out of context. It's all out of context. They're talking about porn. They're back and forth. They're going to say that the conversation happened a different way. They are absolutely... So why is there a point in reading it? Why?
I mean, because
that's the problem. Why? Why is this in court? Why is this in federal court? Why are we arguing over this? Why is this all that people care about? My only care is that you have reporting. I know. Kat, you are free to express your opinion. You're also free to leave if you want. I'm giving a take on two competing narratives that are being broadcast in two different, very, very different forms. California being one that has anti-SLAPP litigation, New York being another where she just brought a lawsuit against him. If you wanted hypothetically to get out from under California law in anti-SLAPP litigation, one way of doing it would be perhaps to provoke a lawsuit being filed in New York to which you can file a countersuit. So if you want to play a game of who's playing game litigation with chess, I don't know. Both lawyers right now have taken positions that I think are very interesting. You had the lawyer that brought you had the hiring of the PR team, which I think was smart by both of them. Very smart tactic. And Kat, I'm addressing you because you've been making comments through the entire chat. And I don't mean to be disruptive or distracting, but the allegations don't really mean shit. They don't. I expect the allegations of the complaint to be completely refuted by the counter complaint and all the above, and it comes out to discovery, and we end up arguing over the allegations at trial. What I'm focused on is the litigation tactics, what I see. I see a California complaint in the Civil Rights Division, right? So I see a complaint that was filed that's a precursor to a lawsuit. It's a warning. It's a shot across the bow. What it does, it gives context to New York Times. New York Times, who's writing an article that piggybacks off the lawsuit or the complaint itself, grabs certain parts of the text messages, but then doesn't include all of them. So what I hate isn't just articles based on speculation and commentary and unquoted sources, right? So you have unquoted sources that contribute to a lot of articles that go out there and pontificate and speculate as to what happens on a movie set. Then what you have are the ones that are what New York Times did, which I think is even more nefarious. What they do is they try to bolster their own credibility, referencing a lawsuit and certain documents they obtained in an effort to review that lawsuit, having reviewed thousands of pages of text messages, but then selectively captioning and quoting only some of them, not giving their readers full context, but instead piggybacking a narrative. That then results in a lawsuit filed by Baldoni against the New York Times. The New York Times, why not file it in New York? Why didn't Baldoni file it in New York? File it in New York? I don't know. He had to know that the California anti-SLAPP would have made that lawsuit impossible to win in California.
I mean, the thing is that sometimes people make stupid litigation decisions, including
all the time.
Like, have you been following the Garth Brooks thing at all?
Some, not all.
Like the decision to like send a send a litigation threat ahead of time was just like, this is not a good decision. This is a bad decision. And yet they made it. Like fully grown adult lawyers made that call. And I'm just like, okay, like,
yeah,
that is a whole choice, right? And it's not a choice I would have made, but people do it. People do all sorts of dumb litigation strategies sometimes, and I just go, well, good for you.
I do, which is why I think it was very interesting for Baldoni's lawyer to put it in there and say, this is why she brought the lawsuit in California Civil Rights Division instead of actually filing a lawsuit. And then Blake Lively said, hold my beer. The thing is, if I'm a lawyer and I put that in a complaint or a pleading, that is literally saying to the other side, I am betting you won't do this, or you're baiting them into something. So what is it that they think they're baiting them into?
Well, it is a master strategy.
That was a bad joke. It was a terribly, terribly thinly veiled joke. You son of a bitch. It's one of those things where I want to know why. I am very curious why it proceeded the way it did. Why did it start with the California Civil Rights Division and then prompting the defamation lawsuit against the Times? Not against Blake directly, against the Times. But then clearly the Times lawsuit was a shot at Blake. And then it's too obvious of a shot, too. And then Blake doubles down and files a lawsuit. But Blake might have intended to file the lawsuit all along. But you have lawyers that are not idiots playing a game of jurisdiction. I mean, assume, but playing a game of jurisdiction and venue. And now we have this magical thing of discovery, both as to the New York Times. Well, not yet. You don't get discovery until the anti-SLAPP is ruled on. So I don't think they're going to get discovery in the New York Times. But in the New York litigation, I imagine there's going to be a counter complaint filed by Baldoni.
And for the people who don't really understand the whole jurisdiction game, what it comes down to is if you watch the whole Star Wars, it's over, I have the high ground. That's really what the jurisdiction thing is about. It's about positioning for that that high ground. And what is it? The how do I put this? The cases are won and lost on this because it can be super significant,
especially in California.
Oh,
federal
yeah,
court.
especially with critical places like yeah, it's California is one of those places that is just, put it this way, it's like if you're trying to decide whether or not you want to, you've got your ex and you need to do a handoff of like a box of their stuff. And then there's a question of like, do they come to your place to pick it up? Do you deliver to their place to pick it up? Or do you guys meet at like the lava pit? California is the lava pit. So yeah.
Yeah, and maybe what I'm frustrated with is going back to my original frustration with, which is the text messages, and kind of what I was looking at in the chat and what was bothering me about that. And yes, my ADHD is off like it has never been before. I am doing something I don't ever do, which is actually reading the chat quite a bit. It's driving me nuts because I'm all over the place with it. So
it's like, Rob, you know better than that.
I know, I do. And usually I'm better focused than that, but right now I'm not. I'm trying to regain the focus that I had. Going back to the text messages and why I hate litigation based on text, especially with these allegations in mind. Go and the comments being made in the chat, and the one chatter in particular, who was commenting about not reading the responses or the context given. There is no such thing as capturing the full context of a text message communication. The only way you can do it is by giving the full text communications, the hundreds of pages, to the judge or jury and allowing them to read the full damn thing. Did Blake Lively accurately? It's true. I do it all the time.
And yeah, I mean, juries hate you for that, by the way, sometimes if you have to go through it. What's the other one that happens a lot? Here's an 8-hour video and we need to watch it beginning to end.
It sucks. And you know what I will do? Sometimes in closing arguments, I will tell a judge, I know it's a lot, but if you're reading the text messages, I need you to look at pages 5 through 62. Right? You don't have to read 1 through 555, but 5 through 62. You have to read them all because it's a conversation that takes place over the course of a full day. And there's not 15 minutes between the chats.
A friend of mine did a move that I thought was brilliant. He had a judge who the judge doesn't typically like throwing things out for violation of rights. Yeah. But the issue was how long they made this person wait before they let them talk to their lawyer. And he had the cell block video, and he's like, okay, I'm going to roll the video. And the judge is like, well, is there something in the video? He's like, well, there's the wait in the video. And the judge says, well, I know how long, an hour and a half is. And he says, Your Honor, I'm entitled to roll the video so that we can see what he's doing during this hour and a half. We can see him become increasingly more stressed. And the judge is just like, no, I'm going to throw the case out just so that he doesn't have to watch an hour and a half of video. But it's like, if you can't sit there, judge, and watch an hour and a half of video, why, he was not inclined to throw the case out until that happened. And it's like, yeah. So until it was, that he was going to have to sit through it.
Yeah. And for people that are surprised by this, welcome to fucking litigation. Welcome to litigation. Welcome to domestic relations litigation. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just numb to it. Maybe I'm just numb to it and pissed off by all this crap I see in domestic relations litigation, where it's a spouse pulling out selective edits of a text message and then the other spouse saying, but it's selective, and coming back with context. But then the first spouse comes back and says, but you didn't add all the context, asshole. There's some more.
And guys, we're not going to get through 90 pages of each complaint. Rob, you got to stop reading the chat. We can go over
I know,
this on
sorry.
like
Damn
Sunday.
it.
We're going to go over that. We can go over this on like Sunday. I think I can do it Sunday after lunch. And yeah.
My ADHD chose, I chose the wrong day to forget my meds in the afternoon. I completely chose the wrong day to forget my fucking meds.
It happens.
The level of focus that I needed tonight. We are here.
Yeah.
We are here. And what we're going to do is we're going to say that we're going to follow this lawsuit. All of them. I'm going to follow the procedural aspects of the lawsuit. I don't care very much about the allegations, to be quite frank, because I don't believe allegations by either side at this point, but I do care very much about the procedural maneuvers. Very much. I want to see what happens in California, because you're going to see a motion to dismiss. I want to see how that's going to be argued, but I also want to see what's going to happen in New York, because I think that Blake Lively's team just said, fine, we'll play a game. We'll play this game. You want to play it? We'll play it. And they just went for high stakes. So now we're high stakes. Now we're in New York. Now we're access to discovery. So let's see where we go.
Somebody in the chat made an excellent point about New York, which is that New York has very, very strong protections for journalists, such that if you want to get a hold of like a journalist's reports in New York, the flow chart is basically you are here, one straight line to you are fucked. That is the flow chart.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We gonna see. It's gonna be interesting. You know, every now and then, it's good old-fashioned murders are easier to follow than this crap.
Oh man, murders are way simpler.
Terry.
See, the thing is I'm used to this level of attention deficit and this level of sleep deprivation. Rob doesn't normally play at this in this field. Rob normally plans his day better than that. So this time I'm the one who's having to
This is just reverse. Ian, Ian, hold my beer. Exactly. Oh my god.
Ooh, I could go for a beer.
Can't. This is not Rob's rodeo. This is not how this show usually runs. I am usually so much more organized. Oh god. All right. We're gonna do this because I've got a very lovely remembrance stream to get to, and so is Ian.
Also, Chad is reminding us that Google Maps is.
Don't you fucking dare! Don't you fucking dare! Not right now. No. Do not sidetrack me on that damn quest of Google Maps. Oh god, I hate you. Oh. Google Maps. Didn't we? No. All right. We're going to catch up on a little bit. I've got my mods telling me tap out, Rob, tap out. Yeah, I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out. Because my ADHD is ADHDing like there is no ADHD to be had. So let's go ahead and swoop. Yeah. Land the plane. Michigan Farmer. Rob, you're making airplane references all the time. Oh, you mean the movie Airplane? All the time. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's a phenomenal one. So let's catch up here. Got to catch up on some of these gifteds and other chats. Tawny, thank you for gifting memberships. Katja, the Frankfurter, thank you. Joshua, thank you. As always, you're a mod. You shouldn't be doing this, but you do. Laura Christine, thank you for gifting memberships. Destiny Salazar, gifting memberships. Thank you. Fiona W. as well. Thank you. Here for years. Thank you for gifted memberships. Raven254. It's a new name in the chat. I'm glad to see you here. Thank you for gifting memberships and participating. Jen DeSimio, thanks for being a member for 2 months. Sandy gifting 20 memberships. Thank you very much. Lady Drake with membership gifting. Dina Kawaji, Canonical Heat, ever present with gifted memberships. Thank you. Lori Leanne, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope 2025 is better. Me too. We're off to a fiery start. I'll tell you what. Sandy, please don't forget to hit the like button. Please do. even, you know, if you made it this far in the stream, like button would be great. For those of you watching this one on delay, I have not turned on monetization, so there should be 0 ad play right now. I have you looked at some of the ad insert ratios, like how many ads they're putting in these fucking videos these days?
It's weird because sometimes I'll have like sometimes I'll have a video and it's like 2 hours long and they're like, we're going to put one ad in at like an hour and 15 minutes. And sometimes I'll have a video where it's like, all right, this video is 15 minutes. And they're like, 15 minutes, 15 ads. And it's like, wait, what? It's really hard to sort of understand how they do it. And like one of them was like, all right, I've got a 3-hour video. They've got like, you know, an ad for every 15 minutes. And then I looked at it and was like, oh, but they put them all, like literally every single one was in the first 15 minutes. So instead of being like 15 minutes and then the next ad, which would be perfectly reasonable, right? I think people will forgive you if it's like, I've been watching for 15 minutes, it's going to show me another ad. Okay, fine, right? Reasonable.
It is wild on these streams like FNF, and I'm sure on Monday on your Monday streams, like you'll do a live stream and it's literally like every time you pause, every time like Ian and I will switch off a comment or I'll say something, it's like an ad plays. And what's funny about
you hiccup and it's like ad.
YouTube did not, like, they gave a disclosure they were going to start putting ads in. They did not give a disclosure as to how many fucking ads they'd be putting in. Holy crap. So thank you to the few of you who brought that up in comments, because I went back and reviewed where the placements were, and I think there was like 70 in one of my freaking videos.
Oh, sometimes it's just insane.
So I turned off monetization. I'll turn it on at the end of the stream, and I'll make sure that the ads are not placed like crazy, because I wanted people that are tuning in live not to have to deal with the mid-roll ads while it's playing live. That was my effort. I tried to do that.
Yeah, I had mine who was, my partner manager was like, you need to try turning ads on midway through. And I'm like, yeah, when I set it to like mild ads, you put an ad every like, 2
seconds.
Yeah. And it was just like, nope, we're not doing that.
Nicole has ADHD, 3 kids, all ADHD, ASD. Monday can't come soon enough. We are all over the place all the time. 9-inch Nails Gal, congratulations on the engagement and the minis. Thank you, 9-inch Nails Gal. Sandy, thank you for getting additional memberships. Blessed in Texas. We need to do this old school then. Just need the address to send requests and make requests. Please put on YouTube about, maybe listen email. I do. If you go to my YouTube about page, you can see my email address. It is lawandlumber@gmail.com. I think Ian Runkle has the same thing. Ian, your email was, it's
Runkle of the Bailey at
Runkle
at gmail.com.
Oh, I have a different email, but that's my special email.
Yeah.
But yeah, shoot us an email, lawandlumber@gmail.com. I can't guarantee I'll get anything put out, but I will do my best to get to that. Lynn, Rob, I'm glad they liked them, but you've got me blushing. I wasn't fishing. They don't have to fish for compliments. They were beautiful. You've got a talent. I don't understand crocheting, how people can get the crocheted piece so square and so perfect. Killer Instinct or Killer Stinct. There's also Honey Ad Blocker that is sus as well. Honey,
yeah, don't run that.
That lawsuit is so much more interesting to me than this Blake Lively stuff. The only thing that bothered me about this one was just what's fucking happening and where are we going next? Chris Cat Queen, damn, now I want honey to toast, and it's late. It is late. No need for honey toast. Icosaplex, so here for the everything on topic or not. There's a whole lot of not on topic tonight. I apologize for nothing. Analytical, actually, I apologize for that. I actually do. I apologize for that quite a bit. Analytical Blarney AB, speaking of all the ADHD. Yeah, there's a whole lot of it. Crazy Cat Queen, dude, I misplaced my meds for 4 days while decluttering, and withdrawal was awful. I was so sick. Always be mindful of your meds. Please do. Destiny Salazar, I'm breaking my leg with all these rabbit holes. Fair. Zello Spoo, Random. I saw these watches and thought of you. Green Time watches. I figured you might be interested in them. I think I've seen them before. Are they the bamboo ones?
Oh, I haven't seen those.
Oh, they're the wooden watches. Yeah, those are really cool. I have seen those. They're very neat. I like those.
Oh, I feel like you pretty much have to do that.
Yeah, but I want to make one. Guys, don't send me shit. Don't send me anything. Ever. No, like the wall is very full. If you want to send me pictures of the artwork you do, please do. I love that. That makes me very happy. Sir Merrick, don't sign up for Buncle with me instead. Yeah, fair. DSN, thanks for my gifted membership. You can thank those in the chat who are gifting so many. DSN then gifts the membership back. Way to go, DSN. Light Queen, I'm late because I was making things with my new Cricut. So glad to be here now. I didn't say that, but the mini mischiefs, there's the 3D printer and the Cricut is set up right next to it. So they
got
have
a
access
Cricut
to
that I've
both.
got to make use of. So yeah.
Have fun. I expect labels over on everything. Everything, including that white door behind you.
And mostly harm. I also need to talk about Cody Wilson. I'm planning on trying to talk about. I might not do that one live. I might do that as a pre-record. I don't know. I got to figure it all out. So we'll figure it out.
Lauren L, fun fact, this was Dep's crisis team. Yes, it was. Just because it says something they needed 3 intimacy coordinators.
I'm just so one of the things that sometimes happens if you like for mediators is they have one mediator picked by one side, another mediator picked by another side, and then those 2 mediators together pick a third mediator.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, is that what they're doing here for intimacy coordinators? Like, one is like, yes, they do this, and then the other one's like, no, they don't. And then they got a tiebreaker.
You know where my mind went? My mind went to the families that I've had that are super high conflict, where everyone has a therapist and then they have a family therapist, and all the therapists disagree with what the other therapist is doing, and then they all have an opinion on what the family therapist should be doing. That's where my mind went. All the therapists. Just, oh, what a mess. What a mess. Don't use honey on the Bunkie referral link for Ian. Yep, that we got. SK, question, why might the format of the text message images change in BL's lawsuit from long to wide? Would that be seen as sus? This is why I don't like including, like, you include the full screenshot of the message. You don't take a weird caption version of it. Like, you include the full screenshot. Because yes, some people view it as sus. Lynn Britton, Reba told Taylor to do the remasters. It was the right call. Okay, Crazy Cat Queen, I must be old. Sometimes I unfollow because I'm just overwhelmed with the volume of stuff I follow. So I whittle it down to a manageable for the time amount. That is completely fair. Melanie Pare, Happy New Year's, everybody. Happy New Year indeed. Cindy Collins, good evening all. Please pray for this first-time pregnant lady who's been dying of the flu since New Year's Eve and not allowed to take any medications to help. Laughing my ass off. This is hell. I'm sorry.
I'm laughing, but it's not funny, but it's kind of funny.
Part of me is like, yay, blessing of child. Wonderful. Awesome. Other part of me is like, I'm sorry. I can't. I hope everything goes well soon and you get better.
I can do this.
I can do that. Celebration of new baby. Yay. I'm sorry you're sick. I hope you get better. Michigan Farm Boy, this feels like an O'Keefe story. Initial calm, dumb response from the accused that they don't have any proof. Additional article from O'Keefe with additional proof. It can be an effective strategy. It feels like a whole lot of baiting by both sides. Ian, don't say a word. Cindy Collins, bless you all for the sick pregnant advice. I am so out of my element here, and now hubby's caught it. 2 on top. Oh no, there was more. Cindy, no. And now hubby's caught it 2 on top of the stroke he had a month ago. So we're both as useful as a sack of rocks. Well, sacks of rocks are very useful.
It is true. They can write a better filing than Gingras.
It's true. That is very true. Plus, if you don't have a weighted blanket, you can put a blanket on top of you and then a sack of rocks on top. Now you have a weighted blanket. So there's another use.
I do not endorse this strategy, but Rob has.
No, I think it's a bad idea. Mama bets these cases undermine survivors of interpartner violence. We don't know that. We do not know that yet at all from any of the allegations, one way or the other. Chelsea Rama, intimacy coordinator, should be on set at all times for sex scenes. JB shouldn't have to walk Blake Lively through anything because she skipped a meeting. Defeats the purpose of an intimacy coordinator. Methinks production company cheaped out and only hired intimacy coordinator for pre-production. It's possible. I mean, we've seen some interesting stuff on sets when it comes to managing money. The Rust set being one in particular where they seem to put everyone in different roles. I don't know. Like I said, we are at the very, very beginning of this litigation. It's been largely PR, so we're going to have to watch what plays out in court. L. Fliggins, thank you for making the law more accessible. I try to. Tonight was not the easiest, but I try. Julia543, my guest, lawsuit, not goal, was bait for discovery. It could have been.
Masterful.
It could have been. God, Auburn. As if Ian read that. Pat was busy having a mass debate. Crazy Cat Queen, we love Robin, Ian, and we love the analysis. Thank you, Crazy Cat Queen. Peggy Reardon, New York has some really strict rules and laws regarding turnover of reporters' notes and whether they need to turn things over from one state to another if they don't have an official office in that locale. I wasn't really talking about New York Times because they don't have to get it from New York Times. Now you have Blake Lively, who has said, I am free for business and open to discovery in New York. So I can get communications from Blake Lively's side and her team's side to anyone at the New York Times. I don't need to get directly from the reporter. I can go after their team and all of their team. And where in California, I couldn't get discovery until the anti-SLAPP litigation had been resolved or anti-SLAPP motion had been resolved. And I wouldn't have gotten discovery under the California discrimination practices. In New York, I get discovery of all your shit. So I'm very curious as to where this goes. Crazy Cat Queen, non sequitur. I have classes starting Monday and just got an email from the instructor that we already have a homework due on Tuesday. That's bullshit. Really? It's horrible. Who does that?
Yeah, that's another setting where you don't want things going off in unexpected times and places.
You have to read it out loud just in case someone's not looking at the screen. You have to read it out loud. So
the chat says, God, I hope no one tries to hire Gutierrez as an intimacy coordinator.
Yeah. Talk about worst idea ever.
Yeah. No negligent discharges on set, whether they be from the intimacy coordinator.
No. God damn it, Ian. I hate you so much right now because you just used the word negligent discharge in the most inappropriate fashion I could ever imagine. Oh my God, my maturity is not capable of handling this.
I've had less than 4 hours of sleep.
I've had less than 12 hours of medication. Okay, here we are. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I had to look at the chat for that one. That one. There we go. Help! I can't breathe. Yeah, I can't imagine the misfire. Yeah, I know that one was one where that just shooting blanks. All of the above are there. Every one of them. Joshua, thanks again for another great FNF and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend indeed, everyone who is here. Mama Bets, new year, new you. No, just new year. Not really new me. Still same old me. A little bit more frazzled me. A little bit more gray hair me. But still just me. I think. Customisation. Let's see. This is crazy. Where was it? What's Niklas's new channel? He keeps changing the name of it.
Did he? Okay.
I want to see who's got. Just setting this up.
Focus. We got places to
I'm focused. Not at all. Just setting up a redirect.
That is a reasonable thing.
Yeah. Jennifer Smith, thank you both for making my night. Thank you, Jennifer. Like I said, the ADHD was not a plan. It was not a plan tonight at all. Gen V, you remind me of my kiddo when we forget his meds. You do not understand. The problem with the ADHD part is when I'm on my meds, I can very easily recognize the ADHD traits in other people. When I am not on my meds, it is very difficult to see the ADHD traits as I am living them, other than to realize, why am I not able to focus the way I was? What is wrong with me right now? Why am I looking at the chat versus looking at the document? Why can't I read at the same pace that I am usually reading? Why is it that I keep looking at this little dummy that's on the desk in front of me? And then it dawns on you that there's a rational explanation. It's like, oh, shit. And it all makes sense, and it drives you insane. And I have a lot of coping mechanisms. But when Ian and I tell you that we both suffer from ADHD, it's not a joke. It's there. Lauren L., did you see the suit filed by JB's former PR firm? I did not. Did you see that one, Ian? Was there a separate suit?
I will have to see.
I didn't see that. I'll have to take a look at it, though. Oh, he's being sued by his former publicist.
Oh. Interesting.
Interesting. Ex-publicist sues the actor. Wow.
Everyone's suing everyone.
So right now, the idea of who's telling the truth, like I said, I'm not going to.
Yeah, if you're confused, that's coming to a middle.
I'm not picking a horse in this fight. Chris Mullen, Happy New Year, Rob. Runkle, mods in chat. Chris, Happy New Year to you. Christy Robinson, Happy New Year from an ADHD family. Much love to you all. Much love to you as well, Christy. Thank you very much. Jack's Snack Pack. You and Emily inspired me to finally get my ADHD diagnosis at 35. Wish I would have done it so much sooner. Such a difference. Thank you. Very glad for that. That makes me happy. I like hearing about people doing a lot with their lives after watching some of this stuff. Chris Cat Queen. Finally, even though I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm really enjoying watching your Commanders and quarterback Daniels looking really good. So fun to watch. I know, Crazy Cat Queen. I know you're a Cowboys fan, and I will say it's been enjoyable this season. At least one of my teams is doing pretty good. Chelsea Rama, I read that a U.S. judge will start allowing witnesses to use weighted blankets on the stand in court to help with stress and anxiety. Thoughts? Not in my courtroom. I mean,
Can I, as the lawyer, have a weighted blanket?
Yes, it's called the consequences of the outcome of the litigation that we are involved in. It's a very heavy blanket, Ian.
That's too weighty.
That weighs too much.
No, that's too weighty.
Oh, no, please take that one away. I don't want it. No. I think anyone who has a diagnosed condition or something that has something that doesn't allow them to handle stress like a normal person, right? So testifying in court is supposed to be stressful. Part of that is geared at getting the correct response. You were supposed to have a certain level of anxiety when you're giving an answer. And it's a heightened awareness of what you are testifying to is important, and you have to get it right. Right. So you don't want to make everyone kind of feel like there's no consequence to what they're saying. But there are certain individuals that process stress differently, and individuals who require assistance in one regard or another. For example, when children testify, having them have access to a companion animal is sometimes a tactic that I very much advocate for, because I don't, if a kid is testifying to something that's very significant, sometimes having that animal there is helpful to them. Now, it also gives me the ability to have them break contact with the animal and look back at me and answer my questions, even if those questions are kind of aggressive, because you have to sometimes. So I'm torn on this. I think if under the right circumstances, sure. The other thing I think about is if you put a weighted blanket on me in court, my ass is falling asleep immediately. I am passed out.
I could totally see myself doing that. They'd be like,
yeah.
So, Mr. Runkle, what did you see then?
What? Yes. Sorry, Judge. Sorry.
The judge is like, Mr. Runkle, we're here about the murder. And you're like, I get that. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. They're like, yeah, okay.
And then someone's going to make a comment about giving the jury weighted blankets, and that's the worst idea ever, because they're already half asleep. Imagine getting the jury like right before lunch, and you put a weighted blanket on them, and they're just like, especially like during DNA evidence or expert evidence. Holy shit. That'd be interesting. It's a cool concept, though.
Remember that one day of the Depp trial that was like all videos? And it was
my God.
So boring.
And the jurors, the one juror who literally just had his hand in his head.
There was the one guy who I thought was like literally going to sleep. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And even the awake and with it jurors were looking like, kill me.
Mm-hmm. Nothing worse than playing videos in a fucking courtroom. Sorry. It is the worst possible thing to do. Oh, miserable. All right. Dumpster fire. Yes, it indeed is a dumpster fire. A lot of litigation is, especially this type of litigation. Comes now, trauma from that mental image of HGR. Yep. Random commenter, you've been quiet for a little bit, but
nobody
back right
should
at the right moment.
See, this is why comes now needs to not be used in litigation, because it might be a lawsuit involving an intimacy coordinator, and comes now should not be part of that.
Ever. Not once. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Amber Lee, weighted lap pads can be great. I had my youngest with autism have one in class, and it was amazingly helpful. I don't hate that idea. And actually, I think I might know some kiddos who would benefit from that. So, interesting. I learn a lot from the chat, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff. I love it. So that was our topic. We had many side quests, including, the conversation about honey, about rabbit holes, text messages, communications. Apparently, Apple is getting is paying.
Do not put honey in your rabbit hole.
No, don't do that. That's not safe or sanitary. It's not sanitary at all. No. Apple settled out a lawsuit today. 95 million
against.
This was to settle a lawsuit over Siri snooping on what you're doing.
Yeah, Siri watches you in the bathroom.
Absolutely does. You can't tell me that shit doesn't happen, because oh my God.
And Siri, like if you go into the washroom and Siri comes up with a thing saying, do you want to order more toilet paper? Check the roll, because you're probably out.
Yeah.
And they know before you do.
The camera that's there, it's just, yeah. Huh. So that lawsuit got settled. That one's not interesting though. Honestly, the Baldoni stuff and the Lively stuff, I will be 100% honest. I was interested in it until I read it today. And now I'm just mad at everyone.
I'm going to cover the back and forth, but it's going to be a project. So
I'm just mad at everyone right now. For the I want to see whether this comes back to bite someone in the ass. Honestly, a lot of litigation right now is
not without an intimacy coordinator. It doesn't.
Oh my God, Ian, intimacy coordinator. I just wanted to bite someone in the ass. You could have used the intimacy coordinator too in the bathroom when you said Siri was ordering toilet paper.
There you go.
Not without an intimacy coordinator. Oh, all right. Well, it's going to come back and bite someone in the ass with or without an intimacy coordinator. I was so not an adult. I am not prepared to litigate life or do this stuff. Okay. All right. Other than that, we're going to get out of here. Ian, you're streaming on Monday. Are you streaming other times?
I might stream on the weekend. I haven't figured that out yet. I got to go over these two things before I do it. So, but possibly a Sunday. So, that's kind of my thoughts.
Good. Very glad.
So,
shop time.
I need to get into the shop. I haven't in a while and I need to. So, yeah.
Do I have to read it? I have to read it. Comes now Cub, who I am convinced created their screen name literally in response to this. Hey, Runkle, coordinator here.
All right. And with that, I think I say check, please. And
please no biting. Random coordinator. Yeah. All right. I'm going to redirect you guys over to Danny's stream. We're doing the Jeff Legal Vices Memorial. Please go over and check that out. Please, please, please do. Please have a lovely weekend. I'll catch you guys later. Ian, we'll see you guys on Monday. With that, get outside, go make something, feel better. Promise you it'll help. And hopefully I'll see you guys in a little bit when I pop over there. So good night all. Enjoy the evening.
Night all.